20 minut do pierwszego startu Elite 50. Hyrox double swimmer. Możecie schodzić niżej, aby zobaczyć więcej. Możecie pojawić się jako kibice pomiędzy workoutami, aby wspierać również najlepszych, najsilniejszych, najmocniejszych, najsilniejszych i najbardziej zdeterminowane zawodniki, które już o godzinie 19:30 pokażą nam tutaj swoją siłę i moc na węgiel narodowym w Warszawie. To jest ich droga do Sztokholmu, jak widzicie na telewizorach. W Sztokholmie w czerwcu 2026 roku odbędą się międzynarodowe finały i właśnie dzisiaj z Warszawy jeszcze 3 miejsca na te finały czekają na zawodników, więc oni przyjechali tutaj walczyć o to, aby zakwalifikować się do Sztokholmu, więc będziecie świadkami naprawdę ogromnego wydarzenia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just over 15 minutes away from starting the elite doubles women. For all the spectators in the venue right now, please head down as you are able to come into the racecourse, into the spectator zones and get up close and personal with our amazing athletes tonight. You can get into the racecourse by crossing the bridge over the running lap and get into action. Just over 15 minutes to go.
You know, in 1987, I was dancing in a discotheque. And people were coming up to me and saying, "What is this shit?" I said, "It's house music, baby." Well, they said, "It'll never last." Well, I'm here to tell you.
Potwierdzam wszystko, co usłyszeliście przed chwilą, 15 minut do startu. Zapraszamy, zejdźcie niżej, możecie również poruszać się mostem, aby zejść pomiędzy workouty. Możecie również na wielkim telewizji oglądać z bliska wszystko, co się dzieje. Pamiętajcie, moc waszego głosu i ten doping, który dzisiaj tutaj wybrzmi na narodowym, to jest dodatkowa siła i taki doping dla wszystkich uczestników, dla wszystkich atletów, którzy biorą udział w Elite 50.
All season long, they've chased this moment. They refuse to break, but now there's nowhere left to hide. This is it. One race, one shot, the final chance to qualify for the World Championship. 15 athletes step to the line, but only 3 will earn their place to the world stage. just speed, just heart, just everything they have left, because this is where dreams are made and where they end.
I'm gonna get back when I feel 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 get back when I feel when I feel when I feel don't give me when I feel when I feel like.
Welcome to the PGE Narodowy Stadium here in Warsaw, Poland for our fourth and final major of the season. Not just that, we only have 3 opportunities left to book a ticket to Stockholm in the men's and the women's Elite 15 doubles race, and that all starts this evening. Alongside me, I have Till Schenk and Greg Williams from the Rocks Life. Gentlemen, off the back of yesterday, I think we are going to have a race in store.
I'm still trying to get over yesterday. I mean, that was absolutely incredible. And just that day is teeing up today. We're going to see the same drama, the same duels for the qualification to the World Championship. Maybe records. Who knows? The conditions are great. It's going to be furious.
Greg, an opportunity as well for some teams to book a ticket, but also for redemption.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Till said, there's the opportunity to win the final major. There's an opportunity to book one of the 3 qualifying spots. And yeah, absolutely redemption. Following some of the regional races, absolutely is redemption for some of these parents tonight.
Now, there are 3 tickets left unclaimed, but that does mean that we have plenty that we are going to see on the start line in Stockholm. Let's find out exactly who they are. In the Elite 15 doubles, all athletes must qualify with their single best pro doubles time in a defined 12-month period. Hamburg season opener saw records fall as the first 3 teams booked their spot, with some fresh faces punching their tickets in Melbourne and the desert delivered in Phoenix. In the women's doubles division, the Americans set the pace in Hamburg. Down under, it was the Brits who earned the top qualification spot, with Phoenix offering up some familiar and fresh faces. The Americas Regional in Washington saw 2 more spots secured, before Luke Greer and Harry Thompson, alongside Ida Steensgaard and Ellie Stenfors, wrapped things up at the EMEAs, and brand new partnerships got the job done in Brisbane. There have already been 3 withdrawals, meaning that the next place finisher in the same qualifying race takes the ticket, handing a World Championships opportunity to Hidde Wiersma and Thierry Willingberg, the Van den Linden Louf sisters, and Manuela Garcia and Sika Arning. So here's what's exciting. The women's pro doubles world record has been broken every time Lauren and Vivian have raced together. So why not again? The Team USA pair get one final run out, and it's going to be on a fast course. Charlie Searle and Lauren Stockley, after having their qualification agonisingly taken away in London, come in with a clear mission. Holly Archer and Saskia Millard are in a similar position after a 90-second penalty denied them in London. Jade Skillen and Kat Parnell will be looking to better their London PB, while Pro Age Group World Champions Camila Massa and Gloria Corbetta aim to do Italy proud. But Greg, Vivian Tafuto and Lauren Weeks, the opportunity tonight to go 4 world records back to back. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. Lauren qualified for the Elite 15 doubles with Lauren Griffith early on in the season, but because of injury, she switched up partnered with Vivian Tafuto. They broke the world record on their debut in Vancouver, and then their debut major together was in Phoenix, broke the world record, came back again, broke the world record in DC recently. This is their 4th time lining up together, and on this course, what we saw last night, which looks fast, we saw 2 world records broken. I wouldn't bet against them doing it again.
And you just got to love the both, right? I mean, if you look at Vivian yesterday, she said she really did not enjoy herself, but she did not enjoy herself to a fantastic new PB. And then I love talking to Lauren after the race. She's so relaxed. We saw a Lauren, like, in a style we haven't seen her in a long time. She was so competitive out there. That battle we saw with Joanna. And great thing, like, talking to her in the lounge afterwards, in the Elites Lounge, she said, despite coming second, this is the race she probably enjoyed the most of all the races in a very long time.
It's going to be a great battle out there, and that is because there are two women who are fairly new to the doubles sport, but have made an impression, and they're out for blood.
Well, it's make or break for us tomorrow. So yeah, we're going to go out there, right the wrongs in terms of penalty, but just do exactly what we did in London and get that. The fitness is there, the penalties just need to be removed. So yeah, it's important for us to go out there and show what we're capable of, put it out there and get that spot.
Yeah, I would say if anything, we're stronger than we were in London now. We've had a little bit of training together.
Yeah.
Yeah, focusing on not getting any penalties, and I think we can
The
give
confidence,
our best.
the confidence is definitely there. We know we can do it. So that's
Yeah.
what we now definitely have on our side. And I think we've got confidence of other people as
Yeah.
well. So
Got ourselves on the start line, best possible position we could be. So
Yeah.
let's go.
yeah.
Till, just how impressive was this partnership in the EMEAs?
It was absolutely incredible. If you have seen the race, they absolutely smashed it there in London. They had the time to actually make it to the Worlds, but they had a lot of unfortunate penalties there. But I just spoken to them down on the floor and said, hey, listen up. The goal here is not to collect every possible penalty. And they said, oh, we've done that. We got every single penalty that's there, so we're good to race really hard now.
Fabulous. Another team back for redemption is Charlie Searle and Lauren Stockley, and God, it was brutal to see what happened in London, but they'll be using that as fuel tonight, Greg.
Yeah, so they actually crossed the line in first position in London, but they were given a 1 minute penalty after the race because they accidentally cut the course slightly short as they left the sled pull. Now that has changed the Elite 15 challenge process essentially after that race, where now the challenge process can only be for unsporting behaviour, and all in-race decisions will stand, and there's an enhanced VAR team watching the race as a result of what happened in London.
Now, these two teams, if you put them side by side, I mean, there's not that much to separate them.
No, there's not, and we think of Holly and Saskia Millard as runners, but they are particularly good on the sleds and on the sled pull in particular, putting a really fast 2:46 in London. That gains them some time over Charlie Searle and Lauren Stockley. But then later on in the race, Charlie Searle's sandbag lunges are very, very, very quick. I think we'll be talking about Charlie's lunges for years to come. 2:17 there, so they can really claw back time later on in the race.
Camila Massa and her partner Gloria Corbetta, for them tonight, obviously an opportunity for qualification, but also a future with them both coming from Italy.
A future indeed. If you look at them, they're preparing for the future, really. Camilla Massa started with Sika Arning into the season, then decided, at the moment I'm not strong enough, I'm holding Sika back. They split up, she found Gloria, and together they said it's a year of transition, and whilst the work never ends, they said the transition is completed. Gloria is ready, and Camilla is the strongest she's been the entire season. That's out of their mouth. Let's see if we can get to see that on the floor.
Now, another partnership that is the strongest that we've seen of them all season was Kat Parnell and Jade Skillen in London. They set a brand new PB, Greg. And, you know, Kat yesterday has a bit of a point to prove tonight.
Yeah, so they just narrowly missed out on getting their qualification spot in London. I think they were 10 seconds away. These are another partnership that I think we'll see for years to come in the future. And like you said, Kat just missed out on qualification in the solo race last night. So she's got a point to prove. She'll be extra motivated tonight.
The most amazing thing is actually the friendship that these teams are forming. And if you are from the same country, it means now is an opportunity to collect valuable points with next season in mind, because these teams want to be on the start line, yes, in Stockholm, but also for the future of the sport that is growing at a rapid pace. But look, here we are. This is the final stop for our women's elite doubles. Let's head down and meet our athletes.
From France, make some noise for Rebecca Howe and Jezebel Kremer.
Robimy hałas!
Yeah, we got Ireland and Scotland. It's Moira McGinley and Rachel O'Connor. From England, it's Kate Hutchinson and Fern Gardner. From Italia, we got Gloria Corbetta and Camilla Massa. coming from Germany, Jana Leverstedt and Viola Oberlander. It's the sisters from Belgium, Margot and Charlotte van der Linden-Louvre. Ireland and England joining forces with Roisin Egan and Jess Tao. Make some noise for the amazing Gabriella Moratti and Zara Pirajani. We got Germany and Switzerland with Jennifer Nikolaus and Melanie Moiro. From England, it's Kat Parnell and Jade Skillen. Also from England, give it up for Saskia Millard and Holly Archer. From España and Germany, Manuela Garcia and Sika Arne. We now have England and Wales with Charlie Searle and Lauren Stockley. From Finland and Denmark, Ellie Stemfors and Ida Mathilde Stiesgaard. And finally, from the USA, give it up for Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tavuto.
Poznaliście 15 drużyn kobiecych, które za chwilę wezmą udział
Welcome everybody from Warsaw. First race of the night is going to be our Elite 15 women's doubles. The final stop on the road to Stockholm. The final 3 spots for the qualification up for grabs here in our women's doubles. My name is Till Schenk. On my side, Greg Williams from the Rocks Live. Greg, we had an incredible day yesterday. Unbelievable racing. What can we expect from tonight?
I think we can expect more of the same. These lineups are very, very strong. We've got teams that have already booked their qualifying spot. We've got teams that are battling it out for the very, very last chance to book their spot at the Elite 15 in Stockholm. It looks like the course is on the quick side after the records that we saw last night. I think we're going to get some great racing.
We got perfect conditions here in the stadium in Warsaw. For us, it's a bit chilly. For the athletes, it is fantastic to race out there. And you can see we are getting into the final moments before the start. This is the look inside the start tunnel. And you can see the nerves. You can see the anticipation, because once again, there is no second chance after this. This is the last opportunity to punch a ticket to the World Championship, and only 6 teams that we're seeing here have punched the ticket already, which means we got 9 teams vying for 3 spots as we're getting ready for the start. In the middle, we're seeing Charlie Searle, Lauren Stockley, Holly Archer, Saskia Miller next to her, and the world record holders Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tavuto in the first start row. And in a moment, the red lights, bit by bit, light by light, are going to start illuminating. Once we got all of the lights illuminated, it's a randomized time between 0.5 to 3 seconds. Nobody but the computer knows. They go off, and the race starts. Let's get ready for our Women's Elite 15 doubles race from Warsaw. The lights are on. And the lights are off. This is the start for the Women's Doubles Elite 15, chapter number 7 on the road to Stockholm. So, if you had to make a prediction on what the start is going to look like, what would you have said?
It would have been this. It would have been this, especially after watching the London Regional. We saw Holly Archer and Saskia Millard go out very fast. They're the fastest runners in this race, really, the fastest pure runners. They've gone out hot again tonight, but they're being closely followed by Lauren Weeks, who looked brilliant last night.
So you would have had that start prediction right. But speaking of predictions, Greg, after yesterday, I'm still 2 points ahead. This is the last way to stop on the road to Stockholm. Predictions for the women's doubles. Well, you said 3 races, 3 world records. You're my number 1 pick. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto. And then Saskia Millard, Holly Archer. They're done and dusted with the penalties. They've got them all at the EMEA Championship. They're going to be a furious contender for number 2. And Charlie, Cyril, and Lauren Stockley, they've shown that they got the pace. They had this unfortunate penalty, and they're here for redemption.
Well, as much as I hate to agree with you, Till, I'm gonna have to on this occasion. I think Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto, overall, I think they're going to have the edge tonight. They've got the experience racing together. They're the world record holders. I think they can take it. But I do think Saskia Millard and Holly Archer are going to give them a good run for their money. Would I be totally surprised if they won this race? No. They have to get it through it clean without any penalties. They have to have improved their station slightly. I think they can do it, but I think if I had to bet, I'd put them in second. And I think Charlie Sell and Lauren Stockley, after what they did in London, really impressive performance. Heartbroken after the penalty that they got. I think they're going to get third.
Well, what I love about that prediction means after the women's doubles, no matter what happens, I'll be 2 points ahead.
Exactly.
So that's the great news for me tonight. And of course, we're not on the final lap. We are on the first lap here of a run. But the final lap of the first run is what we're seeing here, which means once they get to that in arch, they're going to turn in your race leaders on the first run. Archer and Miller absolutely smashing it in that first run. And something I really enjoy seeing here right now, what we saw in London was Saskia most of the time actually a little stronger on that run than Holly. But right now, they're looking super smooth, super confident. Most of the time going shoulder to shoulder there right now. So it looks like they're really, really in sync in terms of their running right now as they're headed into workout number 1. The ski erg is coming up. And Greg, it's fair to say the great news for Saskia Millard and Holly Archer is it is very hard to get a penalty at the ski erg. Only very few legends manage to pull off a disqualification, but it's very hard to get a penalty there.
Yeah, don't speak too soon. It is possible. For example, you can leave the ski erg before the 1,000 metres is showing on the scoreboard, which we have seen happen. But yeah, it's very hard to get a penalty here.
And there's 2 pairings just coming in now that I'm really excited about. It's Manuela Garcia and Sika Anning. You know, it's such a strong pairing that they punched their ticket to the World Championship in Melbourne already. But Manuela's been suffering a little bit from an injury and is still on the way back. So let's see how well training has gone and how she's doing after that injury. And then Viola Overlander, who's been part of the World Championship for so many years. She started the season in the doubles with Linda Meyer. Then they split up at the major in Hamburg. And now she's with Jana Levenstedt out there. But they're still to punch the ticket. So when you hear us talk about qualification, again, 3 spots up for the World Championship. This is the last chance. And if you see a Q next to the number, that means that team is already qualified. So all the teams without a Q are hunting one of the 3 spots to Stockholm. So far, it's a really strong into station number 1 here from Holly Archer and Saskia Miller. Managing to stay ahead of Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto. And you can see the split times there. Charlie Seal right now on this ski. Then Lauren Weeks, and next to her, that is Saskia Miller in the teams. All right, Saskia Miller just dropping the pace there for a second, just a little bit, but she's back down to 151. But Lauren Weeks at 145, absolutely flying through the ski erg right now, doing what needs to be done to close that tiny run gap that they had on Saskia Miller and Holly Archer.
Interesting, I'm just looking at the times of that first run. So Saskia Millard, Holly Archer did a 2:54. Now I'm comparing that against Lauren Weeks last night. Lauren Weeks actually ran 2:51 on the opening run last night. So it just shows how quickly Lauren Weeks went out last night.
But you saw the pictures. I mean,
yeah,
that was wow. Pretty much, that is a spot on, very scientific description of Lauren Weeks yesterday is wow.
Yeah, she looked great. She looked great. She didn't take the win in the end, but she got the second fastest time ever and gave Joanna Wettrick a great run for her money up until like very late stage in the race.
And they have actually managed together now, Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafudo, to ski past Millard and Archer there. You can see the numbers. We're headed into the final 300 meters at the skier.
Sika Arn and Manuela Garcia, they're going well. They've clawed back some time, and I'm thinking about, like, we've seen it several times in the doubles in particular this year. Sika Arn has got some of the fastest times on the erg so far this season, and it looks like that's happening again.
Yeah, we've just seen that double down there, and they were in the lobby warming up before the race here, or just outside the racetrack actually, with their coaches, and a lot of detailed work going into the warm-up there, a lot of neuro work and everything. So part of the sport now, really the team's work and the athletes and the coaches, the managers, they work on every detail possible. It's like we heard from Emily Dahman yesterday, there is mental training involved. Now there's nutritionists, managers, the coaches working not just on the power and the technique, but on the body in general to make sure we see the best athletes possible out there. And Vivian Tafudo, just looking at the numbers, looking at Lauren Weeks, she is getting ready to head back out onto the run. And they are going to leave with a little bit of a gap on Archer and Millard there. And Sika Arning, Manuela Garcia, they actually closed the gap to them as well. Jana Levenstedt, Viola Oberländer, not far behind. They are ready. And Charlie Seal and Lauren Stockley, they're losing just a little bit, a tiny bit of ground there on the ski. And here they come out and back onto the run.
All the ladies now are out of the ski.
But this is your leader right now. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafudo, and Greg, this is a picture we have seen many run laps this season.
Yeah, absolutely. These two have looked really strong on the three races that they've done together. They open up a lead early on. Lauren Weeks runs really hard. Vivian Tafudo hangs on, but does very well, to be fair. And she got a PB last night. She looked strong, like you said in the pre-show. I don't think she particularly enjoyed the race, but she still got a 57 something in her race last night. But yeah, this is a familiar sight.
Hey, I said to her, hey, I heard you didn't really enjoy the race last night. I hope it's going to be better tonight. She's like, I never enjoy the race. I wonder why.
Coming back for more.
Of course, they have the fastest skier, 3:51 on this ski. That is another roughly, I think it's about 12 seconds faster than the fastest time we've seen yesterday in the individuals. Sika Arning, Manuela Garcia, only 3 seconds down on them. So really great there as well. Then Egan and Towell, the Irish-English duo, only 2 seconds slower. And Corbetta and Massa, the Italian pair we spoke about in the pre-show, also with a fantastic skier. And here we go, Saskia Millard, Holly Archer. They are about to close that gap again. They're going to go straight through. There's no doubt. They're not trying to stay with Vivian Tafudo and Lauren Weeks. They're going to try to run straight past them. And this is the picture we've seen after the skier in London as well, with Saskia Millard just putting the hammer down. And a lot of people might not have seen that, but with that incredible doubles race that they had, really, it's fair to say, fairly unprepared in terms of how the workouts work, what you can get a penalty for. Saskia really barely spending time in the gym properly preparing for Hyrox. She followed that double up with an incredible solo race.
Yeah, she did. She put in one of the fastest times ever. So she is looking very strong in Hyrox, despite the small amount of Hyrox specific work that she's done. But it's her running that's come through so pulls her through so well. But at the same time, she is very, very good on the stations. But yeah, it was penalties that cost them in London. They do need to clean things up. But obviously, they've been working on that a lot for the past few weeks. And it'd be interesting to see what can pan out tonight.
Vivian Tafuto's got to enjoy that. Just chasing that train, but it is so amazing to watch Vivian Tafuto throughout the season. The gutsy racing over and over again, coming back for more punishment, but also the progression in her running. You know, we always talk about how she's hanging on to Lauren Weeks, but this is Lauren Weeks we're talking about right now. The woman who ran a 2:51 in the opening yesterday, and she is right there, and she is putting in the work, and she is doing everything she can to be the best doubles partner for a over and over and over again record-breaking double.
Yeah, absolutely, and she does some great work on the stations as well. It's not just about clinging on the runs on the stations. She is very, very good. One of the strongest athletes in the Elite 15, especially later on in the race, like on the lunges. Her lunges are very, very good. So it's not just about her clinging on for runs. She's a real strong doubles partner.
And then looking ahead in the race just a little bit here, you said, you know, in your prediction, you wouldn't be surprised if Archer and Millett could win the race if they don't get the penalties and if they improved a little bit on the stations. Which stations would you see the biggest deficits right now compared to Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto?
Certainly on the wall balls. At the end of the race, they still have got some time to make up on the wall balls against Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto, who are very, very good at the wall balls. It has to be said. But it is on the wall balls where they can still lose time, and that can be in no reps to a certain extent, but even also just like being able to go unbroken as far as possible and like clean changeovers there. So I think it's in the wall balls in particular, and then maybe on the ergs later on in the race. Yeah.
And here they go. Nothing between the two doubles. They're out. So if you see those green lines down at the bottom where we got the times and the names, that indicates how many lanes they have finished already. And there is a fun little duel going on in lane 4 and 5. It is Sika Anning with her partner Manuela Garcia. And then next to them in lane 6 actually, it is Camilla Massa and Gloria Corbetta. So Viola Oberländer, Jana Levenstedt between them. So Camilla Massa and Sika Anning, who started the season off together as a doubles pairing, now almost shoulder to shoulder out of the workout with their new partners coming out of workout number 2, the sled push. Here we go. Egan Towel, a former swimmer. Now fantastic Hyrox athletes. And look at how close the pairings are together. Jade Skill and Kate Pennell coming through as well. But this is your leaders. Millard and Archer in the lead ahead of Weeks and Tafuto. It's 23 seconds now, but still sitting in third. We got Lauren Stockley and Charlie Searle, so they are where they need to be. And again, 3 spots. So it's important. You got to look at the names. You got to look at the teams that don't have a queue next to them. They are the ones fighting for the qualification.
So you can see on the screen there, we've actually shown their run pace coming out. So on this run, we're showing the run pace of the doubles partnerships, and you can see Saskia Miller and Holly Archer running at a 3:27 per kilometre pace. Very, very quick coming out the lunges. But Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto not far behind that at 3:30.
Incredible athletes. If you look at Holly Archer, she's just coming off a new PB on the half marathon. A distance, a Team GB, a runner, and then Saskia Millett. Well, it speaks for herself right now. The pictures speak for themselves out there on the screen.
Who are trying to fill that gap.
And as we're seeing them in the picture, let's bring Lauren into the game here. She is down on the floor.
Cheers, gang. I interviewed these guys earlier this week, and what was so lovely about their relationship was apparently at the EMEAs, Holly was chatting the entire way round, and Saskia's on a mission today to see if she can quieten Holly by running her as fast as possible on these run laps. But they make such a good team. You've got Saskia, this young 25-year-old who's got all this raw natural talent, and then Holly Archer, this experienced European 1500 meter Team GB champ, and she's basically becoming her guide in this sport, and she's taken her to the Hyrox gym for the very first time. They've got such a genuine friendship and mentee-mentor relationship, and this is just the beginning for these two.
And Lauren, literally while you were saying that, we had them in the picture, and I think Saskia's approach is working. She turned around to Holly, she said something to Holly, and there was literally no response. There was no words, there wasn't even a facial expression. Holly Archer is digging real deep right now. And while it is fun to watch, Greg, that also means they are taking this dead serious right now. I think everything we've seen at the Mares, the banter before the race, we didn't train that much, and we've barely been to the gym. It feels like that is out of the window. A lot seems to have happened between London and here in the race approach.
Yes, very much so. And they know that they've got the edge on the runs, and they want to push that hard. And Holly Archer said to me after the race, actually, that people were saying that they need to go away and work on the Hyrox stations a little bit more. But she said, I think people should look at that and say, I need to go and work on my running more to be able to compete with us.
And I love that, because talking to Lena Putters, for example, incredible athlete in the individuals as well from Belgium, she said, I never go a station full gas because I know I can gain more time if my legs are good for my run than I can gain by putting all that extra work into the stations. And that is all about the tactics and so on. And this is something to not forget about the sport, right? Everybody wants to be an expert. We pretend every once in a while, but the reality is you cannot look at the different workouts individually. You got to find the perfect way of works for the 8 stations and the runs all combined. So if you're just talking clean rowing technique, clean ski erg technique, and so on, that's all great, but it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect for 8 stations and 8 runs.
Absolutely, yeah. This is an important station for them. They are good on the sled pull, they're good runners, but they've done some really good times on the sled pull. But it is the first real opportunity to pick up penalties in this race. We do see it in the sled pull, especially in the doubles. They've got to get through this nice and clean, not step on the lines, just be nice and clean, not step out the back of the box. If they can get through this in a good time, they'll be in a good position.
And we were talking about rope control and everything. You can clearly see that is not their strength quite yet. Saskia is struggling with the rope there a little bit. And Vivian Tefudo and Lauren Weeks, they have closed that gap on the sled pull already. So the 7 seconds they had coming in, they have pretty much closed down already there. Saskia Millett, not as swift, not as quick there in her pull. We see it here right now again. Just a little slower cadence that we're seeing from Holly Archer. And then she had that little bit of trouble of throwing the rope between her legs there and then stepping on it. But still doing a fantastic job. And that is the thing with the running ability and everything they have. Right now, of course, they want to increase the gap as much as possible, right? But if you're able to say, hey, we left the sled pull pretty much with Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tefudo, you're having a fantastic race right now.
Yeah, so just looking at that rope there, that's got a little bit tangled for them, so they're going to have to unwind that. It's going to maybe cost them a couple of seconds.
All right, here we go. 3 lanes are done. Interesting to see with Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tefudo, they don't even need that teamwork, that tap on the back or something. They are so aware of the space they're working within. All right, so experienced in that sled pull and how to maximize the use of that box they're in. And they made a really good move here towards the end of the last lane. Set themselves up nicely back out onto run. But here we go, Holly Archer, Saskia Millett, they're going to be next out. And this is about a gap they can definitely still close on the run. Heading towards workout number 4. And a quick chat there. Here we go again. Holly Archer is back into chatting mode. Quick words there with Saskia Millett as we saw them run out. Lauren Stockley, Charlie Seal on the right-hand corner, now out of the screen, getting ready as well. And then it's going to be Seka Arning, Manuela Garcia. Here, Lauren Stockley, Charlie Seal behind her teammate. And the last pull by Sika Arning. She goes out with Manuela Garcia. And then is that Egan and Towel next. Jana Levenstedt, Viola Oberländer leaving the station as well. Kat Purnell, Jade Skillen right there in the mix as well. And then more and more teams coming out. Piergiani and Moriarty just coming through his screen. The Italian double of Massa and Corvetta now out of the station as well.
So 2:35 there for Manuela Garcia and Sika Arning, strongest on the sled pull. That is a very, very quick time for them. Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto just 6 seconds behind that, but Holly Archer and Saskia Millard did lose a bit of time against the leaders there. 15 seconds they dropped there, but they had gained 5 seconds on them on that previous run. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do on the subsequent run. Can they claw back some time there? I think they left 9 seconds behind.
And also a fantastic move right there from Purnell and Skillen. If we look at it, they clawed back 19 seconds on the non-qualified teams ahead of them. So on Millett and Archer, and just a little less on Seal and Stockley. So they're doing what they need to do on the way towards the front, towards qualification. And I think Lauren has some more insights.
Look, Jade Skillen and Kat Parnell have the most incredible friendship that goes all the way back to when they were 14, 15 years old and playing football for the same area. Now, these guys are experienced athletes, and although Kat's only come in a big way in this past year, they see the sport in a way that perhaps some of the youngers don't, and they've offered some incredible advice. You do not tie your worth to results. You have to fall in love with the process, and in falling in love with the process, you'll find the most beautiful career in life. And I know that can get super hard when you're on the race course and you're literally battling against other people and time. But they said that if you can find that love for what you do over for the outcome of what you are doing, then you'll find a home in Hyrox and you'll love every second.
Well, friendships really do matter. And another fantastic friendship at the lead of the race here. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto, but Holly Archer and Saskia Millett have closed the gap. And while Lauren was talking about Purnell and Skillen, we saw something strange happen in the background on the run. Ida Stansgård and Ellie Stansfors have left the track. And we're not going to go into the details, but it was an unfortunate, kind of expected bathroom break. And Ida said before, if Ellie has to go, I will go with her and I will bring her back to the track. We will continue the race. So let's see when they're coming back onto the track here. But this is our leaders once again. Here they are. Perfect timing, sitting out one lap, and they're back on the track. Ellie Stansfors, Ida Stansgård. Perfect timing to go with the camera, to go with the leaders. And great to see Hutchinson there cheering on the leaders. And here we go, Saskia Millett and Holly Archer, Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto into the burpees. Who's going to make their move at the burpees, Greg?
Well, if last night's anything to go by, then it is going to be Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto. Lauren Weeks moved through these burpees very, very quickly last night, and you can see there she's doing so again.
And look at it very closely. Look at Lauren Weeks on the left, and then look at Saskia Millett at the right, right? Saskia Millett is jumping, that was a German word in there, is jumping very high. Lauren Weeks is staying low and jumping forward. So her energy is all going forward, versus Saskia Millett, she's shortening the jump by going high and wasting a lot of energy there right now. And that is definitely something they can work on in the future to make them an even stronger pairing.
In fairness, I think what Lauren Weeks has just done there has made Saskia Millett look like slower than she really was, because she was very, very quick there. And I think there's some of that is a result of, like, she knows that she's stronger on the run at the moment, and she's stronger than Vivian Tafuto on the run, so she can push the burpees even a little bit more than maybe she did last night.
Yeah, Lauren Weeks is sneaky that way, making other athletes look slower than they are. Here she is. I mean, look at the cadence, look at the precision from Lauren Weeks. That is absolutely incredible burpees we're seeing there. She's going to take that one last long jump. There you go. And into the next lane. And she doesn't even stop there. He's giving their judge a run for his money right now. That is high pressure work for the judges there right now, what we're seeing. Lauren Weeks absolutely flying, and they are opening a serious gap on Archer and Millard behind. And the proof is in the burpees that they're not going slow, because if you then look at Stockley and Seal, for example, there's still the gap is maintained to the duo.
Absolutely, and if we look at like the average times coming into this race, Lauren Weeks with Tafuto around a 2:01 average. That's around 38 seconds quicker than Holly Archer and Saskia Millard.
And there's a yellow card halfway through the burpees for Charlie Seal and Lauren Stockley. I think it was for Charlie. And it is a penalty for Archer and Millard that we're seeing here. We don't know yet what it is sure. What it is for. We're gonna find out. It doesn't look like it was for the burpees. And they're done with the burpees as well. Saskia Millard, Holly Archer losing a little bit of ground on the world record holders, on Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto, but they are still going very strong in the hunt for a ticket to the World Championship. And Charlie Seal, a couple of burpees left. She's got a yellow card already. She's got to keep it clean for that last one. A long jump, and off they go out of the burpees in third for Stockley and Seal. And then Kat and Skillen. And let's hear about the penalty.
Millard and Archer, red card on sled pull. Both athletes working in box.
Oh, an interesting one. We saw that scenario. So both athlete in box. That was when, on that first lane, when Saskia tangled up the rope behind her and got stuck in it with her feet. Holly came in to pull already before Saskia managed to actually step out because her feet were tangled up in the rope. So a very unfortunate penalty there for Millard and Archer.
Very unfortunate. That is easy to do. Like, we know they've gone away, worked on like trying to be as clean as possible. That is an unfortunate one for them to pick up.
All right, the penalties have started. We did expect that a little bit in the doubles. You know, you're going full gas. It's even gonna be more difficult to be precise. And look at the screen. We've got another red card popping up right there for Egan and Towel. So let's hear about
Towel and Egan, red card, hand on white line.
Hand on the white line for the burpee start, I assume that was. So not keeping the hands behind the burpee start line. So another penalty right there in the race.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a straight red that they were given as opposed to a warning, because it was essentially making the course slightly shorter by putting it on the line. Straight red, 15 seconds for them. There's the run paces shown again on the screen there. So it's 3:25 at the moment, 3:25 per kilometre pace for Saskia Millard, Holly Archer. Not really slowing at all at this stage in the race. All of these partnerships are going a sub 4 minute pace per kilometre at the moment. So super quick from them. And Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto, 3:31 pace. So Saskia Millard, Holly Archer are still able to close some time on the runs, but that is a large chunk of time that they lost on the burpees there. 37 seconds. Plus they've now picked up this 15-second penalty.
There are some serious moves right now at those burpees. Of course, you know, those times look huge, those gaps, because of the pace of Vivian Tafuto and Lauren Weeks. But if you look at Leverset and Oberländer, 47 seconds that they lost there. Egan and Towel, a minute 1 plus the penalty. That is like a minute 16 that they lost on the burpees alone. But your leaders, Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto, for the first time on this double stay, they're headed into the workout all by themselves in their leaders, and we hear there is yet another penalty in the women's doubles race.
McKinley and O'Connor, red card, transition error.
A transition error penalty. Now, Greg, I'm going to leave that one to you.
My guess is it's a transition error on the burpees. So potentially when they're changing over on the burpees, one athlete stops working. My guess is the other athlete started a little too far in front of where she should have done and picked up a straight penalty for it.
So that was from Mary McKinley and Rachel O'Connor, that penalty that we just heard about. And here come the chasers into the row. Workout number 5. We're in the second half of our elite women's doubles here in Warsaw. The 7th and final stop on the road to... I'm hesitating. I meant to say Stockholm, but I believe we've just seen a yellow card for Archer and Millard straight coming into the row. Discussion, Holly Archer with the judges there, what it is about. That is the great thing about the row and the doubles. You have time to find out. Hold on, just quickly. Tell me what we did wrong so we can avoid doing it again. So it looks like there was a yellow card for Holly Archer and Saskia Millard. But Holly's, if I read the gesture right, Holly Archer does not entirely agree.
No, she looks a bit confused by that one. But yellow card isn't hurting at the moment. As long as they don't do it again, it's the 15-second penalty that's hurting them at the moment. As long as they learn from whatever they got that yellow card for, then they should be okay.
A quick gel, some fuel for Lauren Weeks. 420 meters, and soon we're going to be halfway into that row. And Holly Archer is back to chatting as much as she possibly can with Saskia Millard. This is a great station to fuel for the final workouts to come, to breathe, to bring the heart down, the heart rate down a little bit, because your partner takes a comparatively long turn on that station usually.
Yeah, exactly. This is the longest time in the race that you get any kind of rest. It's a good time to take on some fuel. It's a good time to take a breather if you need to. It can be... Tactics can differ here between partnerships, like how well you approach it. Do you do 500 meters each? Do you do 250, then 500, and then another 250? Changeovers can take a little bit more time than they can on any other stations. So tactics can vary here, and also it depends on how each partner is feeling. If one is really, really struggling and holding you back on the runs, then maybe one partner takes more on this station.
But look at the race unfold. The race for qualification on the left-hand side. If we look at the non-qualified teams, so if we look at the third one of Purnell and Skillen, they're 310 meters in, but the next chasers are only about 80 meters down, but they got a 15-second penalty. But even Jana Levenstedt, Viola Oberländer, they're not out of contention. Neither are Corbetta and Massa. It is all going to come down to the, I want to say final 3 workouts, but most likely it's going to be the final 2 workouts it's really going to come down to.
Yeah, that's where the big swings can occur on the lunges and then the wall balls. And I say it time and time again on these Elite 15 races, massive swings on the wall balls, and it can come down to no reps and then also just the effectiveness of the changeovers. But then also in the doubles, like your cadence speed as well in the wall balls can make a difference when every second counts.
We've got a second penalty for Archer and Miller.
Millard and Archer, 15-second penalty, grabbing rower handle, feet on the floor.
They grabbed the rower handle, feet on the floor. That's what we're hearing here from Matlock. Holly Archer looked a little bit livid there for a second there. She was arguing with somebody while being like doing her turn on the rower right now. That is 30 seconds again. They're doing it again, Greg.
Yeah, they're doing it again. And I was a little bit sympathetic for them with the sled pull one where they ended up in the box at the same time. I said it was an easy mistake to make. This, I think they should have learnt from London. I think it happened to them in London. We've seen it happen a few times in the Elite 15 races. You know you've got to get your feet in before you pull on that handle, and they've made a fairly simple error there tonight.
The really important thing right now is to keep your head in the game, because you're still going out of the row in second, right? You got a 30-second penalty, but if you look at it, your closest competitors are about 200 meters on the row behind. So that is actually a lot more, those 200 meters, than those 30 seconds. So they're still fine. They're still in the game. And that is actually, that would be top 3. So if you look at the first real contender to challenge them for a qualification spot, they're virtually still with the penalty about a minute ahead. So they need to just keep the head in the game right now. Don't get frustrated and just bring it home.
Absolutely, and I think these two, we didn't see them like downhearted from what they were doing in London when they were picking up the penalties. It just drove them on more. And when I spoke to Holly Archer, she said like it just gives Saskia Miller this extra drive. She looks like this woman possessed, like you said last night with Lauren Weeks in her running. She just looks so strong in her running. And I think these penalties only spur them on even more.
What an incredible race we're seeing here. We're talking a lot about Lauren Weeks, Vivian Cefudo, Saskia Miller and Holly Archer, but there is a third fantastic double down on the floor right now, and let's send it down to Lauren for them.
Cheers, gang. Look, as Lauren Stockley and Charlie Sill came off the rower, if they had looked up, they would have seen a member of their team, and he had counted the distance on his phone between Saskia and Holly, and knowing that there was a 30-second penalty, he held it up and it said 23 seconds. So he was tracking for the girls the gap that they currently have. And currently they are 7 seconds ahead of Saskia and Holly, who obviously have that 30-second penalty.
So a couple of seconds ahead there. I personally would say Saskia, Holly, do us a favor. No more penalties, because right now you could all just make us look real smart. We've got the top three right now. Well, Charlie, Cyril and Lauren Stockley, virtually they're actually a couple of seconds ahead due to the penalties there, but there's still a lot of racing to be done and a lot of running, which plays into the favor of Saskia Miller and Holly Archer.
Saw the running paces come up just there. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Cefudo holding around a 3:30 per kilometre pace, which is what we've seen through the race. Saskia Miller, Holly Archer slightly slowed. Earlier on there, a 3:25. They slowed to around a 3:30. So not much slowing from any of them, but slight slowing in Saskia Miller and Holly Archer.
Fantastic row from Seka Arning and Manuela Garcia. 4:04 row, fastest row on the day here, and a wickedly fast row from Charlie, Cyril and Lauren Stockley as well.
Yeah, they did look very good. When Charlie Searle was on it, the speed come up, she was pulling a 1:45 per 500 metre pace, so they did look very good. And yeah, 4:04 from Seka Arning and Manuela Garcia. Like I said earlier on after the ski, we've seen some great times from Seka Arning, in particular on the ergs, and we've seen that again tonight.
And I'm really so impressed once again here by Vivian Cefudo. She looks fantastic still on that run. She's really close to Lauren Weeks. She is so strong. That double that has set 3 world records in 3 starts already. They are leading the race, and I believe they're leading it in a really fast time right now, or pace as well.
Yeah, so I think they're on for world record pace. It's their own world record, but they look like they're on for that sort of pace. So coming into the Farmers Carries, when they set the world record, they come in at 38.16. So they're around 45 seconds ahead of world record pace coming into the Farmers Carry.
Four races, 4 world records. What a story that would be. Yet another fantastic record story here in Warsaw. But the race ain't over. Here come the chasers, Saskia Miller, Holly Archer. You see it up top on the left-hand corner, 52.59. That is the current world record. Farmers Carry for Holly Archer and Saskia Miller. Oh, and look at that. Look at the time of Charlie Searle and Lauren Stockley. They did actually not lose time really on that run on Miller and Archer. Here they are, Stockley and Searle with a fantastic race, and both pairings, Greg, if we look at it, they have shown that potential at the EMEA Championships already. They both lucked out due to penalties in terms of qualification. And today, right now, it looks like they might be able both teams to actually go home and say this was redemption.
Yeah, they're looking both in a really good position at the moment. Like, obviously, Holly Archer, Saskia Miller do need to be careful of penalties. But like you said, Charlie Searle, Lauren Stockley, they didn't look like they lost any time on that run before the Farmers carry there. So that's really impressive from them to be able to hold the sort of pace that Saskia Miller, Holly Archer are holding this stage in the race, knowing that they've got stations like the lunges where they're particularly strong. On the wall balls, they look pretty good. A hand over there where they didn't put down the kettlebells. That's something that we've seen coming into some of the doubles teams there, where they're not even placing it down. They just take it slightly quicker, saving a few seconds. But yeah, they're looking good at the moment.
Was that a smile on her face?
Or a grimace?
It did look like a smile on Charlie Searle's face. There's probably something that Lauren Stockley said to her, reminding her how well they're doing right now in this race. The top three out of the Farmers carry already. And one of the things we've been speculating about with the records we're seeing here is how much does the temperature help?
I think it helps a lot.
Yeah, exactly, Greg. We can see that it is helping a lot. So I sorted out what the temperature is. We came in this morning and it felt substantially colder than yesterday again, which made us think the athletes might even go faster. I've got the number in my hand. It is just shy of 13 degrees Celsius. And that is the coldest stop that we have been at all season. And hopefully that is a big part of what's impacting these incredible performances we're seeing.
Yeah, we definitely think so. We've spoken to Fabian Eisenlau before the race, who's probably one of the most data-driven athletes we've got in the sport right now. And we asked him, is there a thing such as, like, is there too cold for great performance? And he said, no, I raced this morning. It was about 10 degrees, and it was absolutely fabulous for racing. So conditions are mint here in the stadium in Warsaw. And so are our fantastic athletes down on the floor. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafudo, smashing it right now. We're now at a point where they're pretty much matching the pace of Millard and Archer. Stockley and Seal going just a little bit slower. And the big question there is right now, we're looking again, of course, we're looking at the world record, we're looking at the win, but we're also looking at the qualification spots. And right now, there's 3 teams in 2, 3, and 4 who are looking really, really strong for qualification. But there is some teams lurking from behind.
Trace Gillen and Kat Parnell there, that looked like they'd slowed to a 4:20 place. Now, maybe that was just temporary, like, slowing down, but they need to be careful. They want to hold on to that qualifying spot. They can't stay at that 4:20 place because they will be closed down very, very quickly in this race.
And it's like there's 2 stations coming up, and it's 2 stations where you can definitely make some moves. No surprise looking at the results here, at the numbers from the Farmers carry. This is about the closest that you get at any workout stations. Usually not a lot of moves happening at workout number 6. But the sandbag lunges and the wall balls are coming up. Sandbag lunges, looking at all the red flags that we're seeing here right now, something that does worry me a little bit because it's another one of those technical stations that might result in more penalties.
Yeah, it can do. Not getting full extension at the hip. We have seen some penalties given for that, or at least some yellow cards, so that is possible, especially in the lunges where you are trying to move super quick.
Lauren Weeks looking around, making sure Vivian Tafudo is right there as they're headed into workout number 7 with Camilla Massa and Gloria Cobetta headed out for another run lap. They were right there next to them, but with one run lap behind. But here we go with your race leaders, with the 3-time world record setters in the women's elite doubles already this season. 43 minutes and we're into workout number 7. And you said it, Greg, these 2 stations, especially looking at the wall balls, this is something where Archer and Miller might lose a little more ground. The big question is, can they hold off Seal and Stockley?
It's tough to do. So if we look at the average times over the past couple of races, Holly Archer, Saskia Miller have averaged a 3:03 on the lunges, which is not slow by any means, but Charlie Searle, Lauren Stockley, they've averaged a 2:14 on this station. Very, very quick. And Charlie Searle in particular, it looks like she moves through these really, really impressively.
And every second counts for them right now because there is that 30-second penalty for Archer and Millard. But let's face it, at the end of the day, if they walk away with third instead of second because of the penalties, but they punch that ticket to the World Championship, is all going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be delighted with that. I do think they can win the World Championships. They've got to get there first, and then things like the 30 seconds against Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto matter a lot. But yeah, they'll be delighted to put their spot. But just look at that, Charlie Searle there on the left. Look how quickly she's moving there, just stepping through, no pauses, really, really quick.
And again, something they're amazing at. This is the second workout in a row where we're seeing that. Oh, a yellow card for Saskia Miller. They're again risking it a little bit. But something that Cyril and Stockley are just fantastic at is the transitions. Again, we've seen it at the Farmers Carry. They don't even put the kettlebells down. It was a hand-to-hand over there. And now even that transition with the sandbag, that is one of the smoothest transitions I've seen so far. Holly Archer and Saskia Miller, they managed to open that gap a little bit again on that run, but now they are under pressure from Cyril and Stockley. That is Manuela Garcia and Seka Arning. This is not a surprise that we see them move up the ranks in the later stages of the race. They've gone past Purnell and Skillen now. No trouble there for Purnell and Skillen, but they need to watch out with the Irish and Scottish duo of McGinley and O'Connor coming from behind. Is that 15-second penalty in the end going to cost the Irish-Scottish duo the ticket to the World Championship? That is the question right now.
It certainly could prove to be costly, but we've seen swings like that at the Wall Balls. Look at this gap that Charlie Searle has closed down on Holly Archer and Saskia.
Speaking of swings, that is 40 seconds. At one stations, they closed 40 seconds at the sandbag lunges. And here they go out onto the run. It is one run left. It is one workout left. 4 hour race leaders for the top 3 teams out of the workout already. Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto on a potential world record pace yet again. Saskia Millard and Holly Archer out for redemption after the EMEA Championship with a good shot at punching the ticket to Stockholm despite a 30-second penalty. And then Charlie Cyril and Lauren Stockley looking at redemption as well.
So the head-to-head coming up at the bottom of the screen there between Saskia Miller, Holly Archer and Charlie Searle, Lauren Stockley. And it's really a case of stations versus runs. So as you'd expect, Holly Archer, Saskia Miller have got the edge on the runs, especially early on in the race. 10 seconds in that first run, then another 16 seconds on run 2 and so on. And that's continued, but that gap is closing on them runs. But then Charlie Searle, Lauren Stockley clawing back some time on the stations. 4 seconds on the sled push, 7 seconds on the sled pull, then a decent chunk of time on the burpees, and then we've just seen a significant move made on the lunges. 39 seconds they claw back on that lunges, and now it's neck and neck between them as they leave that station.
And what a story this would be for Kat Purnell if they would get a ticket to the World Championship. But Greg, I'm seeing something I'm really not liking on the screen. There is a red flag with 150. Let's hear it from Matt.
Millard and Archer, 2-minute penalty, littering on the rope.
Littering on the row. So I assume they threw away a gel pack after feeding. It's a 2-minute penalty that we're seeing right now, and this might just shatter the dreams of Saskia Millard and Holly Archer of going to the World Championship. Right now, they need to keep it together. They need to hold off Jana Levenstedt, Viola Oberländer, and the duo of McGinley and O'Connor. They got another 15-second penalty. You do the math right now. Millard and Archer, even with the 150-second, with a 2-minute penalty plus 30, they are just outside qualification. This would drop them back down to 8th place right now, behind Levenstedt and Oberländer.
Wow, a 2-minute penalty for littering. And it should be said that there is an area for them to drop litter for their gel pack is on the course. There is specific areas where they can do it, but obviously they threw it somewhere that they shouldn't. Was it on the road?
It was on the road, but they got a 15-second penalty already. They got 2 minutes and 15 seconds penalty in one workout alone. But let's look at our race leaders. We're going to go back to the drama that's unfolding behind. Here they come, Saskia Millard and Holly Archer. They got to go as hard and as fast as they possibly can. But Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafudo at the wall balls. And they have time right now. Round about 2.5 minutes to go. It is gonna be a fight. 3.5 minutes to go. It is a race for another world record here. They're 25 reps in already. And then Saskia Millard and Holly Archer, they are 2 reps in. They want to get as many reps in as possible before the chasers are coming in, before Liebenstedt and Oberländer are coming, and before McKinley and O'Connor are coming. They are the real threats to them right now. And Greg, they will have to wait 150 seconds. They will have to stand at the wall balls for 2.5 minutes and hope that not more than 2 non-qualified teams go past them.
That could be an excruciating wait for them. So just a change over there, 25 reps in, but they've already picked up 5 no reps, and they can't afford that kind of thing. They can't afford any more no reps. I think it could go very, very close, despite the 2.5 minutes of penalties that they got, but they need to get through this as quickly and cleanly as they can.
Cleanly, it's going to be really important as Lauren Weeks is doing her thing at the wall balls. Again, we're looking at a cadence of about maybe 1.8-ish seconds, 1.9. Again, let's make it easy. 2 seconds per rep. So you already lost another 10 seconds. Now 12 seconds due to 6 no reps that we're seeing for Millard and Archer. What a drama, what a duel this is going to be as Sika and Manuela Garcia coming into the wall balls. And here go Jade Skillen and Kat Purnell into the wall balls, setting themselves up real nicely to take a jab at taking a ticket to Stockholm. Vivian Tafudo now at the wall balls for our leading duo. And there is no doubt anymore that this is going to be world record number 4 in race number 4 for this duo that only formed this season.
Unbelievable, really. What an unbelievable record. 4 races and then 4 world records. They've looked really, really good throughout the race tonight. We've talked a lot about Saskia Millard, Holly Archer and the race behind them, but Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto have looked really, really solid through this race.
But I'm not going to lie, with the way they're doing that right now, we're spoiled. So if they ever win a race without a world record, I'll be utterly disappointed. Here we go, the final 3 reps on the way to a world record. This is it. This is victory once again for Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafudo, and this is a world record once again for the US pairing. In a 52 low, in a smashing time here in Warsaw. Chapter 7 on the road to Stockholm. It is a victory again for Vivian Tafudo and Lauren Weeks. And Greg, the clock is ticking. And Holly Archer, Saskia Millard, they're not looking terrible right now. In terms of time, it is a long 2.5 minutes, but they're about 60 reps ahead of McKinley and O'Connor. And they got another 15-second penalty. Then Jana Liebenstedt and Viola Oberländer. 2.5 minutes for 60 reps. It is doable for the Germans or the Irish and Scottish right there. Here go Charlie Cyril and Lauren Stockley. Second place at the major here in Warsaw. Redemption for the pairing. Not only taking second overall, but punching the ticket to the World Championship.
So Jana Liebenstedt, Viola Oberländer had around 58 reps left to go when Saskia Millard and Holly Archer. So 58 reps for the 2.5 minute penalty.
And look at the drama at wallball station number 2. The referees with Holly Archer and Saskia Millard. The clock is ticking down, and it is ticking down too fast for the English duo. Millard and Archer, they will miss out on the World Championship. The question is, who's going to take that ticket? The next one is going to go to Skillen and Purnell. There isn't a doubt in my mind, and it looks a lot like Jana Levenstedt and Viola Oberländer are now in a virtual third at the wall balls with a shot of taking the ticket to the World Championship. Drama and disappointment, heartbreak for Holly Archer and Saskia Müller is gonna be. It feels like a lifetime, but here we go. Jade Skillen and Kat Purnell, they punch the ticket. They're going to the World Championship. They can book the tickets to Stockholm, and look at the happiness, look at the relief from Jade Skillen and Kat Purnell. Sika Arning and Manuela Garcia with yet another fantastic performance after a great showing from Sika Arning in the individuals yesterday already. And the time for Holly Archer and Saskia Müller has passed because Jana Levenstedt and Viola Oberländer are across the line, which means they punched the ticket. They just realized it. Look at the disbelief in Jana Levenstedt's face. They are going to the World Championships as well, the Germans. Edging out O'Connor and McKinley. Perciani and Moriarty across the line here as well. And McKinley and O'Connor despite the 15-second penalty. And look at Saskia Müller at the wall balls. This is absolute heartbreak. They came into the wall balls in seconds. Tears down on the floor in our Elite 15 race. They should be proud of themselves. They should be proud of their performance. But yet, another penalty heartbreak for that duo. And looking at it, Greg, the other thing is, this was the last Elite 15 race where we've seen that pair in race together. Is it? It's different.
For Holly Archer?
No, it's actually, no, it's same country. Yeah. It's Stockley and Charlie Seal, who will have to switch partners after this season. All right, we're going to see Millet. I apologize, a little too excited here. We're going to see those two again in the next season. They will be back for redemption, I have no doubt. Holly Archer, Saskia Müller. The performance is there. The one thing that is missing a little bit is the precision.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for them. They did look really good tonight throughout the stations, like their execution, the runs, the stations, everything. And we talked before the race so much about penalties. I don't think we could have predicted the penalties that they will pick up tonight. What happened in the sled pull in the box, you know, the row was maybe an easy one for them to avoid, and then literally that 2-minute penalty so costly for them.
Well, let's throw it down to the floor with Lauren and our amazing teams of the day.
After the heartbreak of London, how did you even pull yourselves together and execute that race with such class as you did?
Like, from London, we knew we could do it, and we could see it from London, so we had so much confidence coming in today. Everyone could see what we were capable of. We believed what we were capable of, and she's a great partner. I knew we could do this, and yeah, it's over the moon.
A great partner to have, especially on the lunges. You clawed back 40 seconds. How are you guys training that station?
I think now we've made this lunge thing a thing. Honestly, it came through.
You've got your lunges.
I was almost like dreading it because I know I've got a big crowd here, and I'm like, they're going to go mental if I don't go and pull some out of the bag. And yeah, the crowd, like everyone just supporting, got us through that. It was incredible.
The screaming on the lunges was amazing. If you could hear everyone on the sideline, it was amazing.
She has the lunges. You have the belly flop across the line. Are we going to make that a thing?
That is such a classic me thing to do. I was just so excited that I went forward and I just went for like my shoulder, my head. I'm surprised I'm not concussed.
Look, one thing that I thought was really impressive is there was a battle happening in front of you in those early stages and you didn't get sucked in. What does that tell you about your ability to manage race strategy at this stage?
I think that we know where our strengths are, and we use them how we need to use them. We're not like, you know, we're average at most things, but what we're good at, we know how to push in what we're good at, and yet don't get caught in people's races, because learn your own, get great at your own, and you will absolutely manage it and come out the other side stronger.
we just knew the two pairs in front of us, the girls are amazing runners, so we just knew that if we went out with them too hot, then that we might sort of struggle in the later part of the races. So we knew, let them go, wind them back in. But yeah, they're amazing anyway, so it was a pleasure to race with them.
You guys are amazing too. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Let's go see our family. Where are they? See them doing again.
Well, if you like drama, skip the soap operas and just make sure to never miss a Hyrox race again. Greg, the drama, what is going through your head right now?
So much drama. These doubles races never disappoint, but this had everything. We had the world record, impressive performances throughout the field, so much drama and qualification, and what a way to finish there.
What a way to finish there. I hope we can turn that into a GIF. The Lauren Stockley finish there, the belly flop. What an incredible race by the pairing, but we've also seen the drama. We've seen the heartbreak for Holly Archer and Saskia Millett again. This has got to sting.
Yeah, they knew they had a really, really good chance tonight. Not just to qualify, but then if they were at the World Championships, they had a real good chance to win it or at least get a podium. If they could just get it through it clean, they knew they had the edge on the runs. They knew they were good on the stations. But the penalties have cost them dearly again, and really, really dearly tonight for some simple mistakes, to be honest with you.
Very unfortunate there, but hey, how about 4 races, 4 world records? What a pairing, and they're with Lauren.
What a pairing indeed. Breaking your own world record again. Lauren, what does this do for confidence as you look ahead to the World Championships?
I mean, I'm really excited. We're still kind of new partners, so we're still kind of dialing in what works best, and we've changed a couple things, I'd say, like each race, and I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to finally fine-tune what we're going to do come Worlds.
Vivian, your first season in the doubles. How are you finding it?
Every time it's hard. It's almost like it takes the pressure off, because I'm like, no matter what happens, it's gonna suck. So you just kind of go in thinking I'm gonna do my best, and being very glad that Lauren's my partner when we go into burpees.
Lauren, both in the singles and in the doubles, we see you use the burpees to such great advantage. How hard are you training that station, and is it becoming a key part of your race strategy?
I wouldn't say I'm actually training it any harder. I've just changed my strategy and my technique. I've become really cautious in trying to not stagger step, and I think it's been slowing me down, and I don't want to have to worry about it, so I've just converted to jumping up every time.
It's going well. Okay, ladies, what do you feel is going to be your main focus as we look ahead to Stockholm?
God, I just got to be a faster runner, man. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be it for me, just trying to dial in as much as you can in 8 weeks, stay healthy, recover well, do the best I can on my runs, and just be excited. It's a cool thing. It's a great opportunity. It's such a privilege to be here and to be able to race with Lauren.
We're so excited to see you crush it at Worlds, guys. Go and enjoy the moment.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
If I have one wish for the future, Greg, it would be that at least once Vivian would just lie to us and surprise us. Cross the finish line and say, hey, that was fun. I'm not sure that's going to happen as long as she's racing with Lauren Weeks. What do you think?
No, I don't think she's ever going to say it's nice and easy, but she keeps coming back for more. And, fair play to her. She's got 4 world records in the 4 races that she's done, and she holds her own on station. She keeps up on those runs. Really impressive from the two of them.
I really hope she knows how incredible she is and how that development throughout the season and everything she puts into those races with Lauren Weeks. And we keep talking about the run, but the reality is, if we look at the stations, Vivian Tafuda is such a strong partner, such a needed partner for Lauren Weeks to make this double work, to get those world records. So they're fantastic. But the one thing is, did Lauren Weeks just really tell us, we don't quite know yet what we're doing? Really?
Well, I think that the strategy do constantly refine it as you run with each other, and if you're not exactly evenly matched, then they're not necessarily like Lauren Weeks. He's probably stronger on the runs. Vivian is slightly stronger on some of the stations, and as that difference happens, you do need to constantly refine it to work out the best way to approach the race. But they're doing a pretty good job of it at the moment.
They are indeed, and there is one pairing we've seen in the pre-show, and they were talking about overcoming doubts and making yourself aware it's okay if you're just 15th in the world. You're still 15th in the world, but they did way better, and they're going to Stockholm.
They are indeed. Ladies, you have booked your ticket to Stockholm. Look, this friendship goes back probably the furthest of anyone else in the field since you were like teenagers. How does that translate when you're out on course and things are getting really difficult?
Do you know what? I think there's just this natural synergy that we both have that is just like unmatched. Like we don't need to check where each other is. It's like we have this kind of like second energy of just knowing exactly where that person is, knowing who needs to take over at what point. And I think that just comes naturally from us just knowing each other such a long time, you know?
It's intuition, it's trusting each other, it's being able to just to look at each other and just know what the other one's thinking. And it's pushing on and just trusting that other person will catch up. Whether that's Jade pushing, whether that's me pushing, it's going, do you know what, I need you now. I've got your back just as much as you have mine.
I know there would have been an element of disappointment yesterday, Kat. How did Jade help you get through that and get you out on course tonight?
Jade is like just a ball of energy. If I come, there's no fear in the doubles. The solo is a lonely place and you go at it, there's a lot of like negative energy attached to it because you're fueled with this adrenaline and it's nervous energy. Jade just comes along, pops that nervous energy balloon. She's just and she just makes it fun. It's a fearless event. It's a race that you can really enjoy.
I knew I had to pull something out the bag today just to kind of bring her back from yesterday, and I was like, you know, based on yesterday, you know, I knew that I kind of needed to maybe bring something a little bit different, a little bit more today, and I hope I did. I hope I did for you, you know, and some.
I think you guys did each other proud. Congratulations.
I love you.
I love you more. I love you too.
Yeah, we love you. And you.
And you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Well, plenty of love left or out there on the floor for everybody, not just for the athletes, for Lauren down there. A very happy pair, and across the finish line, they've proven to themselves in a way, when we look at what they were just talking about before the race, that they can do, that they do belong, and they belong indeed. But hey, there's been an interesting race even behind a dramatic race. We've spoken about Saskia Miller and Holly Archer, who missed out on the World Championship for a second time in a row due to penalties. But it led to a race behind between a German pairing and an Irish-Scottish. It was a really close fight, and in the end, it came down to the number of no reps or no reps. It just shows how important not just speed but precision is.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. And also making sure you stay in the fight. They were well down the field. They perhaps had no idea that Saskia Miller and Holly Archer had such a penalty and that they could still be in for a qualification spot. But the fact they didn't give up and really dug in, even on that last run, leading into the wall balls, gave them a good chance. And I still weren't convinced that they could do it as they got into the wall balls, but they got through it really, really nicely, really quickly, and then crossed the line and got that qualifying spot.
If I had to pick a favorite face of the race, it would have been the disbelief in Jana Liebenstedt's face at the finish line when she realized they're qualified. Let's see if that face has turned into a smile.
Yep, we've got some smiling ladies right here. Viola, when you crossed the line, when did you realize you actually had got the ticket to Worlds, and what went through your mind?
I think exactly when I crossed the line, because there were just two other black teams, and I said, wow, that's real.
What was your initial reaction, Jana?
I was surprised, and I think we are the third team, and we are not. Yes, we are. Yeah, so, because you are at the wall balls and you don't look at the others, so it's amazing.
What does this moment teach you about fighting all the way to the end?
Yeah. Never give up during the race. So I think today was a good race. It works. Everything works well. It was a good teamwork at all. But yes, never give up until you cross the finish line. Because as you can see at the wall balls, for example, I think there were 4 or 5 black teams in front of us. But they got penalties or were very slow at the wall balls. So now we got our spot. We are very happy. I think it was a great teamwork. It was an amazing race. We maybe didn't expect that. We hope for the best, but well, I didn't expect it for today, but I'm very happy.
So this partnership will continue to Stockholm, but also both being from Germany, it continue much longer than that. Is that the ambition? Are we going to see you guys together again in the future?
We never talk about it.
Also, I put you on the spot.
But we have the best. We are both German. Yes, so I think, yes, that is. I think so. I don't know, but I think so.
I think so too, because I think it worked very well. I think we are a good team. And now we have 6 weeks to go, or 7, I think 6 weeks to go to train for Worlds. And
maybe we must train one time together because we never train together.
Yeah.
So I think that for the Worlds we must train together.
But all in all, I think we are a good team, and I can totally imagine that we start next season again together.
I love it. Thank you so much, guys. Great job out there. We'll see you in Stockholm.
Bye. Bye.
Way to throw a curveball there from Lauren and making them think about their future. Interestingly enough, that they haven't done it yet so far, because it is a topic in Germany. I mean, there is a lot of great athletes, but even if you look at like the world champion, Linda Meyer, it doesn't look like she does not have the partner for the next season yet. So in Germany, you want to start thinking about who's going to be the partner for the next season, because again, everybody, it has to be the same nationality. Of course, looking at the results here, the yellow cues is what we're looking at. Charlie Seal and Lauren Stockley, Jade Skillen and Kat Purnell, and Jana Limstedt and Viola Overlander punching the ticket, joining the grey cues on the way to the World Championship. And McKinley, O'Connor, Corbetta and Massa missing out. But what a fantastic showing from Corbetta and Massa, that pairing that formed after the major in Hamburg late last year, so beginning of this season. And this is the teams qualified for the doubles. This is the 15 teams going to Strawberry Stadium in Stockholm on the 3rd weekend of June to battle it out for the title of the fastest in the world. And of course, if Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tufuto win, we do expect another world record, don't we?
That's what we've come to expect. 4 races, 4 world records, but they're not going to have it all their own way. Some really, really strong teams there, and in particular, Joanna Wettrick, Jess Petro there will be up against them at the World Championships, and I'm really, really excited to see that race.
Really excited to see that race, and we're also really excited to see the next race. We want to thank all of you out there for spending the evening with us, watching a first exciting race of the day. But don't go far. We'll be back in a moment for the men's Elite 15 double, the final Elite 15 qualification race of all of them on the way to the World Championship.
All season long, they've chased this moment. They refuse to break, but now there's nowhere left to hide. This is it. One race, one shot, the final chance to qualify for the World Championship. 15 athletes step to the line, but only 3 will earn their place to the world stage. Just speed, just heart, just everything they have left, because this is where dreams are made and where they end.
I'm gonna get back when I feel 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 get back when I feel when I feel don't give me when I feel when I feel like.
Welcome back to the PGE Narodowy Stadium here in Warsaw, in Poland. And oh my gosh, Till, We have had 3 races, we have had 3 world records, and that was just spectacular from our women's doubles.
Part of me really wants to say, can we take it easy in the men's coming up? But then we all know we don't really want that. No, it's been an incredible race in the women's. I cannot believe the drama we've seen, but another world record, incredible performances. I'm really, really looking forward to what these amazing 15 teams can deliver in Stockholm.
The men's elite doubles up next. And Greg, this is the last chance. Everything needs to be put on the line tonight.
It doesn't. They're not going to be taking it easy, Till, I'm afraid. They're not going to be taking it easy at all. There's 3 qualifying spots up for grabs. There's a lot of teams that are really hopeful and believe that they can do it, and then the qualified teams can afford to experiment, can afford to really push harder. Some of them will be chasing another world record.
We cannot wait. Who is lining up on that start line? That is the question. We've got, for the first time, the Americas regional champions, Peklifer and Scott, and the EMEA regional champions, Vinish and Rončević, going head-to-head. And you know that's going to be exciting. You've got Alan Cow, who declined a roll down in the singles to go all in on the doubles, alongside his partner, Mark Dean. But with 10 teams chasing just 3 qualifying spots, this is no easy task. Charlie Bottrell, he's already qualified in his pairing with Jake Deard and looks to be as much about next season as this one. Raw Debo, the nickname for Dawson Miller and Marcus Wallace, make their first trip across the Atlantic together on the back of a sub-50 performance in Washington, DC, and 4 of the 15 teams hail from England, including the Sutherland brothers, who will be looking to find their rhythm and establish themselves as regulars in the Elite 15 doubles field. But alongside me, another man that hails from England and recently qualified, Luke Greer. Luke, I bet you can breathe easy now after last night.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I found, relief. I can chill, I can watch this race and just have fun and see what happens.
What did you learn about the course from yesterday's race?
I mean, it's obviously fast. I don't know why it's fast. The floor felt slippy. I don't know whether it was the stations, whether it was the running. I think altogether it was cold. So it's quite chilled here, which I think obviously helps with running faster and feeling cool. But yeah, I think there probably is going to be another world record, which is very, very exciting. I'm not sure whether it's going to be Tim or Ronk. I think the Danes have got a chance. So it's going to be an exciting race, I think.
It is, and after yesterday, the Danes certainly aren't ones to be counted out. Look, you're a runner, you're very experienced in this area. The cold weather, we were wondering whether there is a point in which it's too cold, or is actually the colder the better?
I don't think I've ever experienced a race where I'd say it's too cold. I think at the end of the day, you warm up at some point, and maybe at the start you're a little bit cold, but throughout the race, if it stays cooler, then it's going to help you no end. And I don't think there is maybe if it's -5, but again, that might help the Danes because they're used to the cold weather. so I don't know.
Looking at your race yesterday, and you know, we always talk about tactics, team tactics and everything. How important are tactics, and how much does the race really influence what you do out there on the floor? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think you can have tactics going in, and that's good. I think you should always make a plan. But as soon as the race starts, there's things that just go out the window. I mean, if other teams are going off fast, you might panic. You might say, well, I need to go with them, because if they get too far ahead, then that's trouble. So you do have to make that split-second decision. I think that's what you have to be good as an athlete, to make those split-second decisions and make the right ones.
If you're wondering what we're referencing to, it's Luke had a plan for the race yesterday, which lasted for, was it 5 seconds or less?
I saw Tim get to the corner first, and I was like, I can't have that. I can't not be at the front on the run. That's not fair.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see you out in the doubles tonight because, to our benefit, you're with us in studio. But what are you going to learn ahead of Stockholm by watching the men this evening?
I think some of the teams are really fluid, especially with their transitions. And I think that's something that Harry and I probably need to work on. We don't train together too much. We haven't raced together too much. So watching what they do so we can maybe steal some what they're doing. And obviously watching some of the best athletes in the world. Like you're watching Tim and Ron. Whatever they're doing, whether it's sled pull, sled push, whether it's, the lunges, you can always learn little bits from them, and just learning from the best is one of the most important things.
Well, thank you so much for your insight and expertise. But look, Tim Vinish and Alexander Rončević, the latter securing a world record last night. Gents, is he going to do the double?
That is a yes.
What makes him so good?
I think it's his mindset, to be honest. It's so important. Like, he has this ability to be relaxed, to take time off, to have a life outside the sport, and then be 100% dialed in. And the most important thing about him is He doesn't bother about what others do. He's doing his thing, and that is so important.
But what about the combination? Him and Tim Vienisch. It's formidable.
They're pushing each other brutally. There's no doubt. They're both incredible runners. They're great at the stations. They both barely have a weakness, and the few that are there, they're very good at helping each other and supporting each other.
Okay. He stole the world record from Hidde Visma. Hidde Visma is out on course with Thierry Willingberg, and they're coming in fresh.
Yeah, they're coming in fresh, and that could be a major factor. So they have already booked their qualifying spot at the World Championship.
Fresh in those sunglasses.
Hey, never too dark to be cool. I mean, living by that standard.
This is true. But yeah, they're coming in fresh. They didn't perform as well as they might have wanted or expected in London. I think they finished 11th that night. Bearing in mind, Wiersma broke the pro solo world record, so he was in a super strong form. But as a doubles, they didn't perform. So they want to come back and perform tonight before the World Championships. Head-to-head there against Tim Vienisch and Alexander Bronkovic. And maybe as you'd expect, Vienisch and Bronkovic have got the edge on the stations. They're, the world record holders, some of the strongest in the sport. So that if Hidde and Thierry want to challenge them for the World Championship, challenge them tonight, challenge them for a podium, then it's the stations that they need to work on. They can match them on the runs, but it's the stations they need to make time up on.
Now, on that start list, there is one team, Charlie Botterill and Jake Dearden, who are not expecting to take home a ticket tonight because they have already qualified. They confirmed it in the meeting with Matlock earlier this week. So, Till, is this a little bit of exploration looking ahead to next season?
It might just be a sneaky test if they could be the pairing for the next season when we need to be from the same nation. Charlie Botterill has tried different partners throughout the season. He's raced with Jake Williamson, for example. So he's just taking his time. He's taken that opportunity of an early qualification that he's like, let's see who I'm going to race with next year.
Now, these guys are going to be up against those who narrowly missed out in the Americas Regional Championship. Till Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller, they're characters.
They're the pairing that we didn't know that we needed, and here they are. We got Harley Davidson t-shirts. We're hearing about beers at the finish line. We're seeing the U.S. bandana. They're bringing the fun. The boys grew up about 3 kilometers apart from each other, and now still live 8 kilometers apart. They didn't know each other, and then they reached out to each other on social media. It was like, hey, I heard you're quite good at this. Should we try this? Why don't you come to my home? We train a little bit. And that's how the pairing formed 3 years ago. They got so much fun, and they're here for qualification.
That they are. Do you know who else is here for qualification? We've got Louis Osler and Martin Enthoven. Greg, these two have impressed individually, especially in the EMEAs, and Louis booking his ticket last night.
Yeah, and especially this season they've impressed individually. We talked about Louis Osler last night. It feels like he's burst onto the scene, but he was actually age group world champion in 2022. But it's this season he's really coming into his own and impressed. And last night he looked super, super good. Martin Enthoven also raced last night. He didn't quite manage to book his qualifying spot, but they've done well together in London. Narrowly missed out on qualifying, and I think they believe they can do it tonight.
So these two teams who both narrowly missed out in the regionals, I mean, that's an interesting lineup of strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, it does. And at first glance, it looks like Martin Enthoven and Louis Osler have got the edge on the stations. I think it's probably a little bit closer than this graphic would suggest. On the sled pull in particular, Louis Osler last night, I think he did a 2:38, 2:42, I think it was, on the sled pull on his own last night. So he's very, very good there. And as a partnership, they're very, very quick too. So that could be a place where they open up a gap. And if Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller want to give them a good run for their money, it's probably going to be early on in the race. They need to stay in touch.
So I was speaking to Sean Noble earlier in the week, and he was in fact telling me that he was going to go easy in the singles because he knew what was on the line in the doubles with his partner Ollie Fricker. I'm not entirely sure we saw that, but if there's anything we know about this man, he can back up a performance.
He definitely can, but I think he went as easy as Luke went slow yesterday out of the gates. I mean, there was nothing easy about that. But the great thing about him is he bounces back really quickly, literally bouncing in the picture here right now, and he's there for his partners, and you got to love him for that, right? If he promises something, if he promises to be there on a certain day, he is.
I think that's so entirely true. I've never met someone in my life that can just go battle after battle, keep persevering despite all of the obstacles, and Sean Noble is very much that guy, and he is thick in the fight for a ticket to the World Championships in Stockholm. Well, we have had 4 majors. We have traveled the world, we've had 3 regionals, and now it all comes down to this moment. There are only 3 more spots. And of course, Stockholm, the ultimate goal. This is the final opportunity for our gentlemen teams to lay down everything they have and secure their spot. Let's meet the athletes.
Coming in hot from England, it's Ben and Harry Sullivan. Also from England, the boys, Kira Parkinson and Tony Renault. From the Netherlands, we have the amazing United States of America, it's Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller. From France, Xavier Dufour and Martin Lecour. Next to the stage from Serbia and France, Alexis Bernier and Marco Nitti. From England, make some noise for Jake Didon and Charlie Buttrell. Also representing England, Joe Bingham and Ryan Hogan. Ireland and England together with Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker. France and England with Alec Howe and Mark Dean. All the way from the USA, Stephen Pelkoffer and Dylan Scott. Joining forces, the Netherlands and Belgium, Martin Enderhoven and Louis Osler. From Denmark, Gustav Cordua and Sebastian Iversen. And our final team, world champions, Tim Vinnish and Alexander Ronkovic.
Welcome back, everybody, or a warm welcome if you're only joining us for the Men's Elite doubles race here tonight. It is the final chapter on the road to Stockholm. My name is Till Schenk, and with me in commentary, Greg Williams from the Rocks Live. And how about this start list? The world record holders, Tim Vinnish and Alex Ronkovic, Gustav Cordua and Sebastian Iversen qualified already. If you see the yellow on the side, they are qualified already. And then going down, this is the fight for qualification. We're seeing Sean Noble, Ollie Fricker, Jake Dearden and Charlie Bottrell. They will not try and qualify because Charlie Bottrell already qualified. So open out that spot. And Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller with the longest travel to get here, trying to bring it home. Last minute punch their ticket to Stockholm. And this is the look inside the start tunnel, moments away from the start. Greg, we've had 3 incredible races. and we're just going to finish it off with a fourth.
Yeah, we've had, like you said, 3 incredible races, fantastic racing, super fast racing, and this is set up to be another one. This lineup is stacked. There's teams looking to book their qualifying spot at the World Championships. It's their last chance to do so. We've got the world record holders in the race. It really is lining up to be a fantastic, fantastic race.
World record holders in the race. We have the former singles world record holder Hidde Versma in there. He lost it back to Alex Ronkovic yesterday. Tim Wenisch is out for redemption after just not having the best day yesterday. The smile is back on the face. Martin Eijnhoven in the picture. Sebastian Iversen with an incredible breakthrough yesterday in the individuals already. And he is here to absolutely smash it with Gustav Courtois, the youngster from Denmark. Thierry Willenberg and Hidde Versma out for some fun and enjoyment. They're qualified for the World Championship already as well. This is the final moments before the start. The final opportunity for them to take a deep breath and get ready for the race. The lights are turning off, and when they go off, the race is on. Here we go. This is the final start here at the final qualification to the World Championship. The last race live from Warsaw. The men's Elite 15 doubles are unleashed. All right, Mr. Revel going there for a little bit of a lead tuck move. Get some airtime in.
And we have seen that from them too, that Tony Revel, Kieran Parkinson, that they have featured in all the Elite 15 majors so far this season. They've not been able to put their qualifying spot, and we have seen them go out fast, but it does look like Tony Revel in particular is going out super fast tonight.
Super fast start, but we all know at the end of the day, it is all coming down to putting together the best possible race over 8 runs in 8 stations. And of course, it's all coming down to having the best possible predictions. Here are mine for the men's doubles race. Alex Ronkovic, Tim Wenisch. Not only are they going to take the win, they're going to set yet another world record. Then in second, you know what? I'm going to be honest here with everybody out there. I had Courtois and Iversen in there because they talked a big game of how there is no doubt that they own Pelkhofer and Scott. And then Pelkhofer and Scott afterwards talked an even bigger game, and I just fell for it. So I put them on 2 and Courtois and Iversen on 3. Honestly, it's so hard to call. They're both amazing teams.
Yeah, it is a very, very hard one to call. We agreed in our predictions on the women's doubles, but not tonight. But I do agree with you. For first place, it's hard to go with anyone but Tim Wenisch and Alexander Ronkovic, world record holders, and I think they can do it again tonight. But I'm going with the Danes in second place. Sebastian Iversen looked fantastic last night. Really, really impressive performance for him to book a spot at the World Championships. And then Gustav Courtois coming into this, he's fresh tonight, and I think they can put an impressive performance. And then third spot really, really was hard to call. It could have been between a number of pairs, but I'm going with Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker. They just missed out in Melbourne on booking a qualifying spot. They ran an extra half lap, turned around and narrowly missed out. I think they can do it tonight.
And look at that, Tony Revel, his solo airtime is gone. Alex Ronkovic has moved to the front. Tim Wenisch behind him. We're seeing Hidde Versma and Thierry Willenberg right there as well. Jake Dearden behind with the white cap. And this is the way they go into workout number 1. The Ski Erg, a station that Alex Ronkovic and Tim Wenisch definitely enjoy.
Absolutely, they are individually probably the strongest on the Ski Erg in this race, and then as a doubles as well, they tend to gain some time on other partnerships in here, so they come in and lead it. I mean, it is obviously very, very close at this stage, and not much between them on this station either, but Alex and Tim do tend to have the edge here.
So station number 1, Alex Ronkovic and Tim Wenisch, a little bit, not much, but a little bit ahead of Kieran Parkinson and Tony Revel. Then we're seeing Hidde Versma and Thierry Willenberg. Charlie Bottrell right next there with Jake Dearden. A little bit of confusion there in the handover. Again, they're a new pairing. Those are the things you figure out by racing. how you want to do that. Ryan Hogan, Joe Bingham in the picture here. But this right now, look at the average pace that we're going. Ignore Thierry Willenberg there for a second. That was just after the handover. He's going to bring that down. But Hidde Versma, he was going a 130 average. So is Alex Ronkovic right now. That is really absolutely pushing the pace. 130 average at the ski erg. The boys are flying.
They didn't actually open up. The opening run was 2:45, very, very quick. Ronkovic actually opened up with a 2:42 on the run in the solo race last night.
So very interesting. Exactly the same thing that we've seen in the women's doubles versus Lauren Week's open and run yesterday.
Yeah, that is very interesting. You typically think of the doubles as being a bit quicker, maybe like 5-10 seconds quicker on the runs, but so far on these opening runs, they've started out a little slower.
Yeah, but then look at the run pace. I mean, at some point, you just don't go any faster anymore. Another hand over there from Tim Wenisch to Alex Ronkovic. 630 meters in. They are maintaining a little bit of a lead over the duos from behind, but look at how close they are. Dearden and Botterill right up there as well. Fricker and Noble as well, opening just a tiny bit of a gap on the boys that are coming from behind, Bingham and Hogan. Station number 1 in our Elite 15 men's doubles. And we're heading into the final 150 meters. A lot of communication there between Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker. Tim Wenisch taking the final turn at the ski erg the way it looks right now. Alex Ronkovic making sure, just looking at the numbers, seeing the meters click down, quick flirt with the camera. If there's one thing Alex Ronkovic always has time for, is a quick Alex Ronkovic smile. He's always there, he's always ready. Here they go, out of workout number 1, Alex Ronkovic. Tim Wenisch, the world record holders first. Then it's Thierry Willenberg and Hidde Versma. And we're seeing Martin Eijnhoven right behind as well, right behind Hidde Versma, coming out over the workout with his partner, Luis Osseler. And when we looked at it, we were like, they had such an impressive race in London that we almost forgot they're not qualified yet, because there was only one spot up for grabs at the regional. So it's like, they were so amazing, they must have gone through already, but they're not.
Yeah, that's just it. And we've seen it in the singles, really, where we knew there was going to be some very, very good athletes that weren't able to put their qualifying spot in Stockholm. It's going to be the same again, actually. Like, the lineup here is stacked. There's really only 4-5 teams, if you include Charlie Botterill and Jake Dearden, have already booked their spots. So there's 10 teams battling it out for just 3 spots. So there are going to be some strong partnerships that don't get that place. But you're right, Louis Osseler, Martin Eijnhoven, they looked good in London. They looked good individually. Louis Osseler booked his spot last night in the solo race. So it is surprising they haven't been able to do it yet. They'll certainly be hoping they can tonight.
Hidde Versma, Thierry Willenberg going really hard behind. Hidde Versma looking as cool as ever, and look at the pace on the kilometer the boys are going.
2:59 per kilometre pace that Alexander Ronkovic and Tim Wenisch are holding there. So, like you just said, really, like that opening run looked like it was a little bit slow, but when you're going sub 3 minute pace already early on in the race, there's not a lot more you can do.
Honestly, I'm not sure I could pull that off on a 200-meter sprint right now. That is absolutely incredible, going sub 3 minute pace here. And then you look at Hidde Versma coming from behind and actually closing the gap that they had coming out of the workout. Thierry Willenberg going with them. Then Charlie Botterill and Jake Dearden just making the move on the run into third.
Not a lot between any of these teams on the ski erg there, but as expected, Alexander Ronkovic, Tim Wenisch, 3:21, they topped it, and then Louis Osseler, Martin Eijnhoven just a second behind. But yeah, really only 7 seconds between the first and last in this on that ski erg.
I really love how this sport evolves in cycles. So when the sport initially started, you saw a lot of like lifters, bodybuilders and so on come into the sport and do really well at the workouts and post great results and everything. And then the endurance athletes caught on. They came into the sport and they changed the game by training for the weights and made everything faster. And then it looked like, okay, we've got the running developed now. Now we're going to go back to the stations and get faster at the stations. And now we're back in that cycle of like, once again, we're focusing on the running. The running is becoming so important. And look at how many teams are right there on that run at a 3-minute pace.
Yeah, very impressive running. It feels like there has been a big leap in performances, even during this season. Like we've seen like the world record go, whereas Hunter McIntyre broke the world record at the end of 2023, and it stood for a long, long time, and now it's been broken a couple of times since. There does seem to be big improvements in their performances, and I think a large chunk of that is coming down to the running.
And I'm a little bit excited to see, we just seen there is a 15-second penalty for Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker, to find out what that is about, because it takes a special skill to get a penalty at the skier. Let's hear it from Medlock.
Yeah, Noble and Fricker, 15-second penalty on ski, starting early before partner arrived.
Start early before the partner arrived. That is a painful penalty right there.
Yeah, that is a painful penalty, and it can happen in the doubles. It is easy to happen if you separate from your partner. If one of you's quicker on the run, you get to that station, you just want to start, but you're not allowed to start until your partner's there.
Interesting to see there, Alex Ronkovic, he went through that first lane unbroken. Thierry Willenberg, he's going halfway through and then handed over to Hidde Versma. So 2 different team tactics that we're seeing there. Jake Dearden just with a fantastic push there to finish the lane with his partner Charlie Bottrell, who definitely did not have the race he wanted yesterday, but he is back on fire in the doubles here with his partner. And we're seeing Bingham and Hogan right next to them, matching the pace. Eindhoven and Ossola a little further down. Easy to spot. Martin Eindhoven with the thick black hair. Louis Ossola with the race cut, aka no hair. But Alex Ronkovic, there we go. This is it. Lane number 4, the sled push. Alex Ronkovic and Tim Beanish are out. But Hidde Versma, Thierry Willenberg, they're right there. Bingham and Hogan are there. Dearden and Bottrell, Eindhoven, everybody is there. It's pretty much everybody is right there with them. Wow. That was about 10 teams in one bunch that headed out there, maybe 8, but let's go down to the floor to Lauren.
I mean, you saw the carnage as all of those teams left the floor, but maybe what you didn't see was Martin Eindhoven actually slipped and fell, and as they came down the corner back into the rock zone, as did Thierry Willenberg. So you can see that the atmosphere is creating quite a slippy surface, and Luke Greer mentioned it in the pre-show. So these guys are going to have to be really careful at the speeds they're going to make sure they're on their feet.
So you got to watch out down there on the floor, and we're watching out for the leaders, Alex Ronkovic and Tim Beanish. But Hidde Versma, he's right there. Thierry Willenberg just a few meters behind, and then it's Bingham and Hogan together with Bottrell and Dearden, and then there's just a tiny bit of a gap. And it'll be interesting to see Dylan Scott and Stephen Palkoffer. So Dylan Scott yesterday was probably the only athlete who really stuck to his game plan. He said, I'm going to start Washington. I started out smashing. I tried it out. That did not work. I'm going to go slow this time around and see in the second half. And it really worked out for him. So let's see if they can speed things up in the latter half of the race here now.
Yeah, and we are seeing their current speeds on the screen at the moment. The 3:20 pace from Hidde Versma, Thierry Willenberg, and I think that's Hidde Versma in particular looks strong. He's opening up a bit of his gap against Thierry Willenberg there, so that they need to be careful. They don't want to pick up a 15-second penalty like Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker, but Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker also holding a 3:20 pace as they come out of that sled push, and they're looking in good shape at the moment. 3:19 it's just dropped to. That 15-second penalty could be costly for them at the end of the race, but they're looking strong at the moment.
Fastest station for the American duo. Incredible. 1:19 at the sled push. That is not a lot of breaks in between there.
No, that's not a lot. They push that really well, but all of the teams did really. Not a lot separating them, and we saw that. Like so many teams leaving within 10 seconds of each other at the sled push. It is closer than ever. I don't remember a race being that close when they've all left the sled push so close together.
No, absolutely incredible racing that we're seeing here right now in the early stages of the race. We're on the way to workout number 3. The sled pull is going to come up, and everybody seems to be on point on the day here in Warsaw so far. Let's see if we can see some moves being made at the sled pull. I was thinking a similar thing yesterday in the men's individual. I saw a photo from our photographer Tom Schlegel about the atmosphere and everything, and he took a shot of the sandbag lunges, and looking at it, there were so many elite men athletes at the sandbag lunges at the same time because the race was so close together. It just shows you we're slowly, bit by bit, we're gearing up towards the World Championship. We're getting fitter, we're getting faster, everything is getting closer together.
Yeah, it is getting closer together. Everyone's pushing, everyone's working out the type of training that works for them, what can push them on. We're getting closer to the World Championships. The athletes are starting to peak as we get through the season, so it is getting closer and closer, but it is also getting colder and colder in this stadium. I've just heard that the temperature has dropped. It's 11.5 degrees in the stadium at the moment. It is very, very cold, and I think that does benefit these athletes. When you're pushing hard, when it is hot, it does take it out your performance. I think that's helping these performances.
We're basically seeing 2 groups out on the track. The one is that group that just came in with the top 10 teams, and then there is a second group with 5 teams just making the turn now into the rock zone here on the way to the sled pull, but 10 teams within 12 seconds into the sled pull. We have not seen this in a very, very long time. Let's see who can excel at the sled pull. Right now it is Hidde Versma and Thierry Willenberg making their moves. Alex Ronkovic, fantastic rope control. He's known for it. You see the teamwork there. Tim Vinish giving him a push. The moment he's far enough back there to make sure they don't step on the white line. Here we go, and then straight back into it. Strong move in there from Tim Vinish.
Also, Louis Osler, Martin Enthoven there. We talked on it in the pre-show. They've got one of the fastest sled pull times coming into this race. Louis Osler had the fastest sled pull time in the individual race last night, 2:42 sled pull from him, and they look like they've made a move. They've come in and around. I think it's 7th place to this station, but I think they've certainly gained some places so far.
Right, there was a yellow card for Alex Ronkovic. This might be the conversation they're having with the judges there. But interesting to see Tim Vinish, in the later half, there is another yellow card there on lane number 3. It looks like it might be for Bottrell and Dearden, is it? Or is it for Nikic and Bernier? We'll find out.
So I think the yellow for Alex Ronkovic was for putting his foot on the front white line.
Look at the technique of Tim Vinish there. He's actually not fully using the space here. And our leaders, Eindhoven and Osler, are out of the race. We got a new race leader for the first time in the race here today. Martin Eindhoven and Louis Osler taking a roughly 2 to 3 second lead over Alex Ronkovic and Tim Vinish with Hidde Versma, Thierry Willenberg right there. Then we're seeing Miller and Dawson coming through, Bottrell and Dearden. But still, there is a couple of seconds in between right now, but still not a lot. Dylan Scott and Steven Pelkoffer, for the first time, they set themselves ahead of Cordoor and Iversen now, if we're looking at our predictions for the day here.
The predictions for the day, well, I had Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker in 3rd spot, so that 15-second penalty could be very costly for me as well. 2:05 sled pull from Martin Enthoven and Louis Osler there. 2:05 for 50-metre sled pull. That is very, very quick from them.
Yeah, you see it there for yourself. I mean, 10 seconds faster than anybody else right there. 10 seconds faster than Willenberg and Versma. A 2:05 at the sled pull. It's actually really impressive. If you look at it, that is actually faster. Is that faster than the push times we've seen?
No, the push times, I think it was 119.
We got a 119. Yes, I got the math wrong there. It was a 119, not a 219.
Significantly faster than we've seen, like some of the averages coming into this race. So Tim Menich, Alexander Ronchevich coming in with a 2:33 average on the sled pull there. So it's a decent chunk of time they've knocked out on one station.
But look at how close everybody is still together. It was 12 seconds for the top 10 going into the workout. And I mean, it's 45 seconds between first and 15th after 3 workouts. After the sleds that are usually already an early decider and like splitting the field apart a little bit and showing us what the battles are, this is absolutely incredible. And then look at the pace that we're going on the run. It's getting faster.
Yeah, it is getting faster. It's picking up. We've got 3:16 there from Hyrox, Martiri, Willenberg. They're looking strong. And look, they're making a move there. Like we knew they had some work to do on the stations if they wanted to keep up with Venich and Ronchevich, but the times that they're putting in on the runs at the moment, they can certainly put themselves in contention for a win on this race. The paces that they're putting in at the moment on the runs.
I just put it out there. Wouldn't it be a sneaky one if Hyrox, after losing the world record in the individuals to Alex Ronchevich yesterday, would take the doubles from him today?
Yeah, that would be certainly. Yeah, there is a long way to go, and we have seen these two in particular lose time at the wall balls, especially against someone like Tim Menich, Alexander Ronchevich. So there's a lot of racing to go. It's not just down to the runs. Like those two can lose time at the wall balls.
Well, a long way to go. Alex Ronchevich is staying with Hyrox and Thierry Willenberg, and it looks like Thierry Willenberg just warmed up. For the first couple of runs there, he was a little bit behind Hyrox, and now he felt so fresh coming out of the workout there. He went around the other teams to the front and is leading the charge right now. And they're now slowly, bit by bit, separating themselves from the teams behind. We're seeing Charlie Bottrell, and we're seeing Jake Dearden there, Dylan Scott, Stephen Palkoffer, Nikic and Bernier. We're seeing Dawson and Miller. So a little bit of a move there under the pace, under the pressure of Hyrox and Thierry Willenberg. Here we go into the burpees, and off they go. Oh, that was precision work with the fingers there. Eindhoven and Ossel are absolutely risking it there, maximizing it with every centimeter. All right, Tim Menich now in the lead, and a yellow card for Thierry Willenberg. That is early on into those burpees. They got to be careful now. Louis Arcelor and Martin Eindhoven staying with the pace. Only Tim Menich and Alex Ronchevich making a little bit of a move there. And then with the pink cap up there, that is Stephen Palkoffer right there on the right-hand side with Dylan Scott. A long jump to get into that next lane. A little bit of carnage there getting down to the burpees. Tim Menich. I want to say, if there is a station where there might be a penalty for this duo, then it would be the burpees.
Yeah, it's easy to do with there being a penalty possible for staggered feet or not changing over quite right. It's very easy to do, especially in the burpees. There is a good chance that they can get one here. And
look at Martin Eindhoven and Louis Arcelor getting away a little bit there from Thierry Willenberg and Hyrox. Dawson Miller, Marcus Wallace. Such a good story. If you look at it, really, living 3 kilometers apart, not knowing about each other, and then seeing each other on social media, or actually Marcus Wallace seeing Dawson Miller on social media, seeing like, hey, he's a really good Hyrox athlete, reaching out to him, inviting him, hey, do you want to come over to my house and train with me? And then this turned into this incredible and fun double that we're seeing there. One of the last races they raced, the beers waiting for them at the finish line already. rocked up here in Harley-Davidson shirts to Warsaw. I mean, like, they live in the hometown of Harley-Davidson, and they're bringing that style to the race here in Warsaw. So now we're starting to see some moves happening. Super strong burpees from Tim Venus and Alex Ronkovic. Martin Eijnhoven and Louis Osela with the best ability to stay with them right near there. Then Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller, Hidde Versma and Thierry Willenberg losing valuable time there right now. Charlie Bottrell, Jake Dearden coming through as well. It is a 4th and back right now. And the way the race unfolds right now, coming down to our predictions, we need to see some moves happening here from Corder and Ifferson and Pelkofer and Scott.
Yeah, we do. It is very, very close though between them. It's obviously Tim Venus, Alexander Ronkovic made a move there on the burpees. They opened up a gap. They came in 2 seconds behind. They've left 13 seconds ahead. Martin Eijnhoven and Louis Osela, good performance there. They've come out in 2nd place, but then look at that, 25 seconds down to 59 seconds behind. So only 34 seconds separating 3rd and 15th in this field. Very, very congested in those burpees. So it is really, really close at the moment.
Next up is gonna be the row. As we look at the times here, it did not just look fast, it was really fast. What we've seen there from Venus and Ronkovic, a 1:42 fastest at the station. The closest to them, that was Hogan and Bingham there, 7 seconds slower, so a 1:49. But what a move from Tim Venus and Alex Ronkovic. The world record holders just tightening the screws a little more.
Yeah, they are just talking how close it is, and we've only seen one penalty dished out at the moment, but there was, I think, at least 5 yellow cards there shown at the burpees alone, so athletes are going to have to be careful. I mean, obviously it looks like they've all escaped the burpees without any penalty, but 5 yellow cards shown.
Yellow cards, that's a good thing. You don't carry them across into the next workout, so you're fine. Yellow cards, they might slow you down just a little bit because you get a little bit more careful about the execution, but otherwise they're not a penalty by themselves. Alex Ronkovic and Tim Venus, we are halfway through the race, or just over actually, on the way into workout number 5. The row is waiting for the Austrian and German combo. It is interesting to see, right? Like seeing them match up right now for a second last rodeo together, at least in elite racing. They won't be able to race together next year. And then you go to the World Championship where the world title is on the line and they will face each other off in the individuals. Both very strong contenders for the world title. They will push each other to the absolute limit and then the next day try to get a gold together. Louis Osler coming in, Martin Eijnhoven, and then Jake Dearden. But where is Charlie Bottrell? Jake Dearden needs to be careful that he doesn't separate himself too far from Charlie Bottrell, because that can as well result in a penalty if that gap grows too big out there on the course. It looked like a sprint to the finish line there from Charlie Bottrell, making sure he knows he can rest now at the road. So you can really go full gas if you know your partner's going to start the workout. And there we go. That is your reigning world champion, Tim Venus. And this is his partner, the world record holder, Alex Ronkovic. Next to him, Louis Osler, and then Jake Dearden. Jake Dearden going with a 1:35 average there, so a little faster than Alex Ronkovic and Louis Osler. And it looks like Charlie Bottrell behind him is still fighting to come back to life.
That is an interesting element with the doubles. This is the biggest rest that you get in the doubles race. So it is always a question, can you push that run leading into the row a little bit more than you can push some of the other runs, knowing that you're going to get that rest? And it certainly looked like Charlie needed that rest at that point.
So look at Tim Venus now, bringing it down to 1:33, a 1:30 a second ago. So they're really pushing it here right now. Martin Eijnhoven going at a 1:35, Charlie Bottrell at a 1:38.
Just a point on Charlie Bottrell, Jake Dearden. Like you're seeing the cues on the left of the screen, yeah, for those teams that have qualified. It looks like there's only 4 teams that have qualified, but Charlie Bottrell and Jake Dearden have actually also qualified for the World Championships with different partners, and they didn't turn down those spots prior to this race. So the fact that they've started this race means that they actually can't qualify together as a team for the World Championship. So that they have effectively already qualified, just with different partners.
And what's really cool to see, if you look at 10 like the Sutherland boys, right? They're still within contention here to potentially get a ticket to the World Championship, only coming into the race because a double pulled out. They rolled down in with Fabi Eisenlauer and his partner Jeremy out. And they're really, really doing their best right now to make it count.
Yeah, they picked up some unfortunate penalties towards the end of the race in London. They were really in contention for those qualifying spots. They believe that they can get one tonight. They're certainly in the mix at the moment, but they do need to push on because every second is counting at the moment in this race.
And something that is absolutely key in racing doubles is good communication. We keep seeing that over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, good communication, but also great sportsmanship. Watching Louis Oslayer chat to Martin Eijnhoven on that rower, but also Jake Dearden and Charlie Bottrell, who you can tell is putting himself into an absolute hole. But then Louis and Jake also having a conversation and a fist pump, just allowing them, just to check in mid-race. And I think that sportsmanship at the top level of Hyrox is something to be commended.
Absolutely. It's so fantastic to see how much fun they're having, the camaraderie down there on the floor. But right now it's a race. Right now we're enemies down there on the floor, or at least competitors is what they are. Tim Venus and Alex Ronkovic, they are the man to beat on the day here once again. Martin Eijnhoven and Louis Oslayer only 16 seconds down after missing out on qualifying at the EMEA Championships in London, but with a fantastic show in there, and they're backing it up, leaving the Royerk right now in second overall, with Dearden and Bottrell only 4 seconds down on them. Then Pelkova and Dylan Scott. This is the move we've been waiting for them. Once again, it looks like it might be coming down to the second half where they make their move. Did they just copy-paste Dylan's tactic from yesterday?
Well, it seemed to work pretty well yesterday, and so they're approaching it again tonight. They can afford to experiment because they booked their spot in DC. They train together. They live very close together. They spend a lot of time training together, so they know each other's strengths and weaknesses very well. And if anyone can execute a strategy like that, it's them.
But if you look at it, so the way it stands with Dearden and Bottrell not wanting to qualify, we got 6 to 9 within 10 seconds. There's 4 teams right now within 10 seconds, 5 teams within 21 seconds, fighting for 2 more spots to the World Championship, assuming that Eijnhoven and Oslayer can push through all the way to the end. I feel like I've had enough heartbreak for one racing weekend, but it looks like more is to come in the coming roughly 18-ish minutes.
We talked there on the row about Harry and Ben Sutherland. Can they start making a move? Can they book that qualifying spot? They've come in with a 3:36 row, the fastest row. Not a lot between any of them teams, just a few seconds, but they're obviously in pretty good shape at the moment to put in that time.
Really good shape across the board. Here come Martin Eijnhoven and Louis Oslayer leading Dylan Scott and Stephen Pelkov around the run track. Then Jake Dearden and Charlie Bottrell, and motivation there. Charlie Bottrell, he is suffering, and he's got that tap on the back there just a second ago from Ida Versma, motivating him. It looks a little bit like, I don't know if Charlie Bottrell is just running out of energy. He didn't have the best race yesterday, but he's putting it all on the line for his partner, Jake Dearden, right now. Tim Venus, we kept talking about all different angles as Alex Ronkovic is just smiling away and having a good time and interacting with the crowds there. We've spoken, we've had so many races within the race, so many redemption stories going there, and there is a little bit of a redemption story going on with Tim Wenisch, because he might not have the same expectation, but being the world champion and racing the way Tim Wenisch races, everybody expects him to be right up there at the top every single race, which is ridiculous to assume, but it is the way it is right now. And yesterday, it just wasn't quite enough. He said it just wasn't his day, but it looks like he is properly back with his partner, Alex Ronkovic.
And it wasn't quite his day, but he still finished fourth.
I know.
He ran 53.18, so it wasn't quite his day, but it wasn't a terrible day by any means. But you're right, we do expect a huge amount from these athletes, especially at the top of the sport. But it is a long season. You know, we had a major back in October. Tim Wenisch was part of that, and we've seen him throughout the season perform very, very strongly. You can't be at the top of your game for every single race.
That is something very important to consider now with where we're standing in the sport. It is the World Championship coming up. So this is amazing. This is incredible. But one thing that is also going through the athletes' minds when they're qualified already is, if I don't feel 100%, I might not bury myself because I'm already focusing on the building block towards Worlds. Because it doesn't help you to torture yourself here and come third instead of fourth, but then miss out on a podium at the World Championship.
Exactly, and even how much do you taper your training for a race like this? If you've already qualified, obviously the majors are very, very important. There's pride, there's confidence, there's money on the line. But do you do a full taper like you would do for the World Championships, and maybe interrupt your training for the World Championships? All of these athletes will be approaching that very, very differently as well.
But look at the American duo, Pelkoffer and Scott, sneaking into second place now. This is literally Dylan Scott's race from yesterday with a partner on his side.
Yeah, really looking good, really making some moves there.
But so close together still. Tim Wenisch and Alex Ronkovic, they're pulling away just a little bit from the competition behind them, but there is still only 34 seconds between second all the way down to 12th. Can you remember the last time you've seen this in an Elite 15 race?
No, not this close. It's so close between all of them, and even you said go down to 12th there, but 13th, Sean Noble, Ollie Fricker, they've got some of the quickest farmers carries times in this field. We've seen it time and time again from Sean Noble. He did a 1:09 on there last night, so I think they can claw back some time in this station. Then look, you can see him making a move there.
And suddenly Eindhoven and Osseler are under pressure from Bernier and Nikic, from Miller and Wallace, from, well, let's see who's going to be next. The Sutherland boys, here they are, coming out of the farmer's carry. I do not want to be in that fight for qualification right now, because you know this is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt more than it has hurt the entire season, any of the races, because this is your last shot. There is no other opportunity after this. You're 6 workouts in. You know there's 2 runs and 2 workouts left. And you look, Eindhoven and Osseler, if we go down to Ben and Harry Sutherland, that is 13 seconds right there, separating first qualification spot and first one to lock out.
Barely anything in it. So those top 3 now, the big changes during the race, but those top 3 all have a qualifying spot. It is very, very close, and then 4th to 15th, not much separating them at all. Just a minute separating 4th down to 15th.
And then you look at Xavier Dufour and Martin Lecon, the French boys. You know, they're in 10th. They're not out of the race at all.
No, not at all. You've got the running paces on the screen there. So around a 3:25, 3:30 pace, 3:29 from Sebastian Nivis and Gustav Coudard. So really still holding very good pace there.
Did Alex Ronkovic just tell Tim Wenisch, come on, let's go. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Let's go here. Why not make it a double world record day? Let's see if they can pull it off at the end of the day. It would be their own world record they have to break from only a couple of weeks ago in London. Alex Ronkovic, Tim Wenisch leading the race. Incredible farmers carry from the French duo Dufour and Lecorne there indeed. Doing what they need to do to stay in the race for qualification. And Alex Rankovic just can't stop smiling, can he? There we go again. But there's this constant quick look over the shoulder, right? Is like making sure Tim Vanish is there.
This is only a few moments too after you were saying everybody's gonna be hurting in this race. They're gonna have to be digging deep, and it doesn't look like Alexander Rončević is hurting at the moment. It looks like he's really, really enjoying himself.
He really is indeed. And looking at Tim Vanish, I want to say we've seen Tim Vanish race over and over again, and I think he's going super fast, but he has to dig a little deeper right now. He might just not be at 100%, similar to what we've seen yesterday. It just doesn't show quite as much when you're racing doubles.
No, it doesn't. You get those, those slight breathers on the stations, those slight rests. You can change the strategy if one of you's feeling a little bit better than the other. So it doesn't show quite as much, but no, it does look like Rankovic at the moment is feeling particularly good at the two of them.
Here they go into the second last workout station. Time for the sandbag lunges. All right, this is where they need to keep it clean. Again, hip extension matters. The knee needs to go to the ground. Steven Pelkhofer, Dylan Scott ahead of Hidde Veersma and Jerry Willenberg. There is Louis Osler and Martin Eijnhoven. We're seeing Nikic and Bernier coming in. This is fight for qualification. Here we go, Miller and Wallace, Dearden, Ben and Harry Sutherland. There they are, right on the shoulder, and Gustav Cordua and Sebastian Iffersen moved back into there as well. I cannot believe how close this race is going into the sandbag lunges. Look at that. There's almost not enough space at the sandbag lunges. We have not seen that in forever.
No, very congested now. I think I saw a yellow card being shown. I'm not sure who that was to. I'm just going to check, but yeah, it's very close. And like we touched on earlier, it is possible that yellow cards can be shown here, especially when you're moving very, very fast, not getting full extension at the top of the rep. It is easy to do. And there's another one shown now.
Oh, for Pelkhofer and Dylan Scott, so they got to be real careful. Then we've just seen one, I believe, for Jake Dearden. Not as much on the line for them as it is for some other doubles. There's another red card behind a yellow card. There is a lot of yellow cards being handed out in that first lane. The team's got to be careful now. Hidde Veersma just stepping on the line. He has to go an extra lunge there. Dylan Scott taking the back from Steven Pelkhofer. Wow. That, what we're seeing there, the big bunch, top right-hand corner off the screen, that right now is where the duel for qualification is going down in the second last workout. It will come down to the wall balls. Nobody is backing down even just an inch. Nobody is able to make real moves back there. Dylan Scott and Steven Pelkhofer losing just a little bit of time, but that's fine. They're through. They're qualified already. And here we go. Alex Rankovic and Tim Vanish. They're out. They're back onto the run. And here we go. This is it. The final run on the way to the wall balls.
Look at that on the screen there. Look how close it is between these teams. Very congested, nothing between them at all.
Nothing between them, and nobody really losing much time. They're a yellow card now for
Marcus Wallace.
Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller. This is the moment where they lost sight of who the competitors are, who's qualified, who is not. You cannot keep track of that in the bunch that's going down there. So you just know you have to go as hard as you possibly can right now and run for your life on the way to the wall balls, and then just hang on to it and try to push through. And again, the decision at the wall balls, I have no doubt, will be precision.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see on the screen there head-to-head between two of those battling for the qualification spots. So Leo Salaya, Martin Eijnhoven, Marcus Wallace, Dawson Mira. And it's a show of really what's going on in this race. There's barely anything between the two on all of the stations. Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller did make a move on the sled push. They gained 6 seconds on the sled push. They had the fastest sled push of the day, but then gave back some time on the sled pull. A particularly impressive sled pull from Louis Osler, Martin Eindhoven. I touched on it in the pre-show. Louis Osler had the fastest sled pull last night and again tonight, but yeah, it's really a display of how close this race is. There's only seconds separating them on all the stations and the runs.
Alex Ronkovic asking for the cheers here, pushing his partner Tim Vanish along the track. Tim looked super motivated coming out of the sandbag lunges, ready to smash it on that final run. But looking at how close the duel is there right behind, look at the numbers. This is absolutely incredible. And one of the things that popped to mind right now is the sprint drama Glasgow with Sean Noble. I wonder if we're going to see a similar sprint for the final qualification spots down here at the finish line in Warsaw in just a moment's time. Louis Osler and Martin Eindhoven moving themselves back into second ahead of Hidde Weersma and Thierry Willenberg. Then Dylan Scott, Steven Pelke for losing valuable time at the sandbag lunges. They came in second and they left 26 seconds down, so they lost about 14 seconds on Eindhoven and Osler at the sandbag lunges. Corder and Iversen getting themselves back into fifth, but the fight right now really is coming down to Eindhoven and Osler, is coming down to the teams behind without a queue as our world record holders are headed into the wall balls. Let's go for Tim Vanish and Alex Ronkovic. How fast will they go on the day? Tim Vanish, Alex Ronkovic, and here come the chasers. It is going to be the Dutchies in second. Thierry Willenberg, Hidde Weersma, Martin Eindhoven, Louis Osler, Dylan Ska, and Steven Pelke are right there. And Gustav Corder and Sebastian Iversen. And Jake Dearden, I wonder if that's going to lead to a penalty or some trouble there. He is a long way away from his partner, Charlie Bottrell. Charlie Bottrell still not into the workout station here. Jake Dearden waiting for his partner. 31 reps there for Alex Ronkovic and Tim Vanish. We're seeing 19-20 for Louis Osler and Martin Eindhoven. 19 for Dylan Scott and Steven Pelke. Look at how close this race is right now. Just forget Jake Dearden and Charlie Bottrell. Jake Dearden lost track of his partner Charlie Bottrell there. Charlie Bottrell missed the entrance to the wall balls. He went back out onto the track all the way down to the in arch, which is on the opposite side of the run track. Whoa. He must have been so out of it. We've seen how deep he was digging, but he pulled a Sean Noble here. He went even further. He basically added almost an entire run lap now while his partner Jake Dearden was waiting for him at the wall balls. Bringing the drama once again to Warsaw here. But this is the cameras on our leaders, on Tim Vanish and Alex Ronkovic. Then we're seeing Hidde Weersma, Thierry Willenberg, Martin Eindhoven and Louis Osler, Steven Pelke and Dylan Scott. They have managed to edge past Eindhoven and Osler because the Dutch-Belgium duo has just a few more no reps there. But Gustav Corder and Sebastian Iversen going in even faster repetition there right now. So despite more no reps, they are ahead of Pelke and Scott right now at the wall balls. This is going to come down to the final 35 for them and the sprint to the finish line. And then, of course, Alex Ronkovic, Tim Vanish in the lead. But if we look at it, Martin Eindhoven and Louis Osler not qualified for the World Championship yet. Then it is Nikic and Bernier behind them. They would be the next one right now in contention because Pelke for Scott, they're gone through. Cordo and Iversen, they're qualified. Dearden and Bottrell, they drop back, but they wouldn't have taken the spot anyways. Then we got Harry and Van Sutherland into there. Martin Lecorne, Xavier Dufour. And we haven't seen them for the longest time as our winners are across the line. In under 48.30 on the day, Alex Ronkovic and Tim Venus. It's a little bit of a, what's that? Can't have a world record every time move.
48.24, very, very impressive time for them, but you're right, it looked a little bit disappointing not to quite get that world record, which is unbelievable, really. 48.24.
And then look at that, what's happening down there. Corder and Iversen, they talked a big game. Pelkover and Scott talked an even bigger game. And then the Danes did strike back. Who would have thought, I'm not gonna lie, that of all people, Sebastian Iversen is going to be part of the double that makes moves at the wall walls. Look at how close that is. Bernier and Nikic, they have gone through now. So that is 2 teams qualified. It might be the Sutherland boys, or is it Wallace and Miller? It's a sprint to the finish line. Who's sprinting harder? It looks like it is the Sutherland boys. Or is it not? Did I miss somebody?
Waiting for the results to come through. We need to check. We might have missed somebody there come through.
I'm very surprised by not seeing an all-out sprint there. Or did the Frenchmen actually make their move? Is it Lecorne and Dufour? It looks like it. It looks like Bernier, Dufour, Nikic, and Lecorne might have gone through here as well. We're going to get you official confirmation in a second. But looking at the face of the Sutherland boys there, that is absolutely unbelievable how close this race was at the end of the day here. Jake Deere and Charlie Bott roll across the line right now, and we got the results in. Greg, what are we seeing?
So yeah, it looks like Martin Lecorne, Xavier Dufour came in 5th place. So they got the first qualifying spot. Then Stefan Pelkofer, Dylan Scott, they came in shortly behind them, but they've already qualified. So then Marko Nikic, Alexis Bernier came in 7th. They got the second qualifying spot, and it looks like, from what I'm seeing, Harry Sutherland.
No, it's Martin Lecorne, Xavier Dufour. It is Louis Osler and Martin Eindhoven, and Marko Nikic and Alexis Bernier, from the looks of it, who punched the ticket to the World Championship. And that is incredible move. And Martin Lecorne and Xavier Dufour came into the wall vaults in 9th and then absolutely smashed it and crossed the line in 5th, going past the entire competition and punching the ticket to the World Championship. That is how you do it in style. So Tim Venus, Alex Ronkovic, Gustav Korder and Sebastian Iversen, and then Hidde Veersma and Thierry Willenberg. Incredible fist pump, incredible fight and fist pumps down there at the finish line. Ollie Fricker and Sean Noble. Definitely not the day they were hoping for here. They went out hot at the front, but then very quickly dropped back down to the end of the field. Some drama we've seen there from Charlie Bottrell, missing, from what it looks like at least, the entrance to the wall balls. At least we saw him run the other way on the run track a while later, back towards the entrance to the wall balls. Great racing across the board here. A fantastic battle at the front, and without a doubt, Greg, the closest race in depth we've seen in a very, very long time. I actually cannot remember another race like that.
That's really, really close. Like they came into the ski very close together. I remember they all left the sled push very close together. The burpees looked like it was very congested. Not much to give up on the road. And then on the lunges, still close together. All coming up, all dug really, really deep in that last round and coming to the wall balls. And it was really, really close between them. Every rep counted, like the speed of the reps, the no reps. And then, yeah, it was just so close as they all crossed the finish line there.
And we're seeing the medics there with Sean Noble, which we don't know what it is, but he's not walking right. that might be the reason why we saw them drop back but still push through here. Sean Obel, Ollie Fricker. But the celebrations down there, Bernier, Nikic on the right-hand corner off their screen. An incredible race. And Greg, if we look at Nikic and Bernier, we were kind of expecting that for the longest time. We're going to talk about that in a second, but we want to hear from our winners.
I think, whoa, hello, don't go anywhere, come to me. Guys, you just, I mean, we don't know what we're doing. It's been carnage all race, but what wasn't carnage was how in control of that you both were. I mean, another unbelievable performance. How happy are you with the strategy you executed?
So honestly, I need to say first, I never suffered that much like today, so I'm just fucking happy that I had Alex today. He did an amazing job, so I'm really happy that we won today, but thanks a lot, Alex. He just carried me today throughout the race, so it's great to have him as a partner today, so thanks a lot, but it was nice to race, of course.
There are good days to have you as a partner as well, don't you worry, Tim. I mean, Alex, this partnership is working so well. What is it about you both together that makes you enjoy your racing so much?
I mean, I think it's that we both came into the sport very early, pretty much the same time, 2018, and we went through a lot, you know. Tim had a first time of 120 in an open race. Like, look at where he is now. And for me, the race was like, just everything worked as we like planned before. And knowing you have Tim as a partner in the back, doesn't matter if he suffers or not. You can trust on him. You always know, like, okay, he's having your back, I'm having his back. This race, yeah, everything worked well. Like, I also have to say, like, the others were close, but we were never in danger. Let's say it like this. So we were pretty sure, and we had like the confidence, like that we're gonna bring it home, and that's it.
How happy are you with the stimulus that this has given you as you look ahead to Stockholm, Tim?
I'm really, really happy. So I'm super confident for both races, and of course the race with Alex in Stockholm in a double. Yeah, I mean, we run 4 times together, 4 wins. So in Stockholm it will be the 5th.
I love it. It's been a pretty good record, hasn't it? Congratulations, guys. Amazing once again.
Thank you, Lauren. See you soon.
Four races, 4 wins. Sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard that story before in the women's doubles here today after seeing Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto. Another win for Tim Venish and Alex Ronkovic. This time around, not with a world record. You could see a little bit that is what they were going for here today, but did you see the joy? Did you see the fun that Alex Ronkovic was having out there on that course? That's just a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, he was really enjoying it. He said he had a good race. Like he knew the teams behind them were pushing them hard, but they felt in control, and you could see he felt in control. He was really enjoying it. He's obviously feeling really, really good. Really super fast time that they got, even though it wasn't a rail record. It was just still an impressive performance. But yeah, he looked like he really enjoyed that tonight.
We really enjoyed that, and there is a double down there with Lauren at the finish line that I'm sure enjoyed the race as well.
Louis, Martin, you secured your ticket to the World Championships and possibly what was the most chaotic race I have ever experienced in my Hyrox life. What actually did it take to get to the finish line?
I think, like, I didn't know it was so close until the wall balls, I guess. But yeah, we just kept pushing, we just kept communicating during the race, and then yeah, we just, like, I wasn't going to start the wall balls, so Martin took that on him. Really grateful for that. Yeah.
I never even slipped. This is the first race where I ever fell down, so yeah, because it doesn't get more chaotic than that, I think.
I saw you coming out of the sleds and having a slip. How did you recover after that?
After the sled pull? Ooh, yeah, well, there's no time to really think about it. You just have to go. You just have to run. And well, I think after the pull, we got in the first place. So that gave him huge boost, huge motivation, and yeah, I think we're just happy that we made it.
This guy's pretty handy on a sled pull, isn't he? Look, you guys, you do training camps together, you're becoming really close friends. What do the next couple of months look like in terms of getting together and training for Stockholm?
I think we'll have to decide that. I think we might have one training session scheduled.
For sure. Yeah. I think there's definitely there's some room for improvement. But yeah, well, as you can see, we're like 4th in this race. We're a huge, insane competition. I think we can only build upon this and get only better.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Amazing job, guys. It was great to watch you out there. You crushed it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I'm trying to work out what Louis Ursula meant with, I didn't know how close it was until the wall balls. I'm like, my only thought is like, mate, look around what's happening at Sandbach lunges around you. That was incredible to see. It was absolute carnage. And I dare all you out there to pick your top 3 for the World Championship after what you've seen. That was so close together, everything, the entire race. It could have gone either way for any other teams. And we didn't even have all the best teams in the world on the start line. There are some coming from other countries, other continents into the World Championship already qualified. This might turn into the wildest race out of them all at the World Championship.
Yeah, that's like the doubles is so fast now, and we talk about it all the time how every second counts, but it really did tonight. There was just so little separating the 1st and 15th really in the race, and yeah, the World Championships, like some really strong teams are going to be lining up there. It is going to be really exciting to watch.
And how about Martin and Xavier? I mean, they have beaten the odds without a doubt. I don't think they were many people's bet, but here they are with a World Championship ticket.
Gentlemen, unbelievable. Can you talk me through, Xavier, the wall balls?
Yeah, all the race we are behind. I think we are 12 until the lunges. And lunges we do a lot. Great lunges, sorry if I am English. And we arrived at 8th place, I think, 9th place on wall ball. And we do all in and sprint.
It was crazy in wall ball. We know we can have a good place at the end. So we was very fast, and it will be okay. Yeah.
You came from behind, but look, you guys, best friends, you train together all the time. So what does it mean for you to get this ticket together?
It's crazy. It's only second time in Elite 15, so it's unbelievable for us. It's crazy.
What's the feeling like?
It's crazy because it's only our 4th or 5th race together, and we train never together, but we are best friends until 15 years old. So it's a great story for us to go to World Championships because I don't know. I know what for that, but it's crazy for us. It's crazy. It's a dream for us. So
it's a dream. The only word a dream came true.
Allez le bleu! Congratulations.
Allez the bleu, indeed. I mean, I just love those stories, Greg, don't you?
Yeah, fantastic. We couldn't have expected that tonight, but like when you can put in a performance like that late in the race, especially and on the wall balls, like it is possible to book a qualifying spot. I think they come from a modern pentathlon background, which makes me think back to Brisbane, where Calypso Sheridan, she's training for modern pentathlon in the Olympics. So maybe that's the background that you need for this sport, the one that we didn't know about. But yeah, really impressive from them tonight.
And I'm pretty sure Alexis Bernier is happy to have another couple of Frenchmen. They're going with him to Stockholm. It's going to be a fun little road trip, but let's quickly throw it back down to Lauren.
We're clapping the podium. Gentlemen, it's been a bit of a journey for you both. We've had some good results and we've had some results that haven't gone to plan, but you have got the ticket to the World Championships.
Yeah, this is amazing. We are so happy. We work very hard. This is the 4th major of the season. Honestly, the first 2 was a bit average. We had a massive block of like 2 months after Phoenix. We were very confident and we took some risk, and it paid off. So extremely happy, especially with Marco, because this is the last season together. He's Serbian, I'm French. We are brother-in-law, so we had to deliver today, and we're in Stockholm. So just pure joy, it's amazing.
Pure joy for you, but also pure joy, I imagine, for your community in Zurich and your gym back at home. What would you like to say to them?
So what I want to say to them is like, really thanks guys for your support. Without you, this was just not possible. Also, we had the pressure from you to prove that we are like really good and that we wanna be the best in Zurich. So like that we have also like, what is the name, right?
I want to add, because there is like a very exciting news. In 3 months' time, I'm gonna open the second location in Miami. So it's gonna be like a massive premium Hyrox studio in Miami downtown. So I think it's the perfect timing. Elite 15 Stockholm. We have A-Lab here in Zurich, A-Club in Miami. So yeah, if you want to train in the sun, come to us.
Sorry for interview, I gave everything on the race, so my brain is like...
Well, all I know is I'm going to be in Miami. You guys go and have a lie down. Great work.
For sure.
Great job, guys. Congratulations.
Well, Lauren, Greg, I'm booking us a trip to Miami. Road trip for the commentary team into the sun. A very happy brother-in-law double going to the World Championship, and this is the results of the day. Of course, we look at Martin Eijnhoven and Louis Osseler, Lecornen de Voer, Bernier and Nikic qualifying on the day here, joining the teams with a great queue, and so close for the Sutherland brothers. They were there the entire time, and this is the 15 teams going to the World Championship. So missing today, we're going to throw James Kelly, Jake Dearden, and a few more amazing doubles in there. And of course, this was our 7th and final stop on the road to Stockholm. We're going to go next to the World Championship on June 18th to 21st. Mark your dates in the calendar. We're going to come live from Strawberry Arena. And if you think that Warsaw was action-packed, drama-packed, and brought the entertainment, the World Championship is going to be even bigger, even faster, and even more entertaining. I can promise you that. We want to say thanks for a fantastic season with all of you out there on the screens. Thanks again for spending your time with us here from Warsaw. Greg, thank you very much. Congratulations to all the athletes. I'm wishing you all a wonderful evening. And of course, I know we're going to see you 3rd weekend of June, live from Stockholm. Good night.